What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again. Another Thursday. Here we are in your living room, bedroom, wherever the fuck you are watching this. We are with you now.
What's up, everybody? Anthony Trapani here.
What's
Cali
going
Death
on,
Podcast.
everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again.
Oh yeah,
Oh my God.
nice.
Are
to
you
hang out.
are you in Hawaii right now, Anthony?
Yeah. Fuck,
Wow.
dude.
Nice.
Fucking Anthony. So we're Anthony's missing the podcast. I don't want to be on full screen anymore. I'm Anthony Trapani. Yeah, I'm filling in for Anthony. Cali Death Podcast. Yeah.
Glorious, dude.
That was we came up with that about 2 minutes before we went live. So yeah, Anthony's out this week, so I'm gonna take the reins, I guess, as host. Cali Death Podcast episode. What is it? Episode 184. So episode 184. We got the boys in Fermentor here. We got Wally, and I hid the notes. What's the other name? Wally and who?
Dylan.
And
Dylan. Shit. See, I fucked up Anthony, man.
our
Okay.
the names
No,
are
you're
all.
doing a perfect Anthony.
You don't need notes for the names; they're on display.
Yeah,
Oh, they put it
literally
on there.
right
Thank
there
you,
on the
guys.
screen.
Yeah,
Jesus. I
yeah.
thought it
And
said Fermentor. Jesus, I buckled under pressure.
Dylan's from this
Um,
band called what was it called? Atheist or something?
Yes.
Uh,
Atheist.
oh, sorry. Yeah, got it.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Atheist,
Atheist?
as they
Yes.
say in Europe.
At heist.
No,
Atheist.
Anthony pronounces it wrong. Get it? Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, we're fucking stoked to have you guys here. I actually did a little cool digging on you guys today, and I'm stoked to talk about your music. I guess we should do ads right now, right, guys?
Mhm.
Battleforge Coffee, our homies and Deeds of Flesh. You know, if you get tired, drink coffee or whatever, because coffee gets you going. Generous Studios is like a really cool place to jam in Oceanside, California. Casey Howard jams there. Cali Death Podcast.bigcartel.com. We sell a shirt or two a year. Actually, we used to sell a lot. We just kind of fell off with the shirt sales. We need to kind of promote it better. I think that's kind of on our ass, but it's all good.
Mason,
Anyways,
I delivered your shirt to the post office yesterday or the day before, so that should be coming. We have really good turnaround here at Cali Death HQ. So,
well, when
Yeah.
we first dropped the shirts, it seemed like a lot of people were buying them because we were like, yeah, shirts, and then we just stopped talking about it, and they just, they're kind of like a relic now. Maybe need to update a design or something. We could figure something out.
we're working on it.
So I'm here with my resident homies, Casey and Joseph. What's up, guys?
It's
Hi, Anthony. I mean, Joel.
And yeah, we're stoked to have Wally and Dylan from Fermentor on here. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Stoked to be here. I
Very-
love
Oh yeah,
podcast. Yeah. Stoked
Fuck
to
yeah.
be here.
Thank
Stoked to talk about Fermentor, which we love.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm psyched. We're very actually psyched to do this. I haven't done any preparation for being the host. This is my second time trying to fake do this, so roll with the punches with me, fellas.
But don't you
Um,
co-host all the time? I feel
yeah,
like
but,
you're
uh,
often in there in the mix and asking questions and stuff.
I'm in the mix, but Anthony kind of holds the glue, like the things together, and then allows me to kind of like jump in and say shit. Not like run, not like run the ship, like the ship. But yeah, whatever. I listen to enough podcasts. I could fucking do this. Where can
believe in you.
people buy Fermentor stuff?
You can go to fermentorband.com. All our music and merch is up there, and we're gonna have some new stuff coming soon. So we're pretty psyched about that.
Yeah, we're stoked to be on this podcast coming up to our tour that's happening end of July, the Fermentor or the Secret Visitor.
Yeah,
Nice.
maybe you guys can help us decide.
Yeah, we're
one of those.
We're putting it out to the public of what the tour should be called.
Yeah,
I like the
I like
Fermentor.
Fermentor. Yeah, is my
yeah, yeah. That's what
Yeah.
he said, and I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know, secret visit.
Well,
So we're switching. It's
What
official
would-
now.
the secret visitor a reference to something?
We have a song called "Secret Visitors" on our most recent record, Mind Meld, and the image that we're using for our tour posters and stuff is sort of inspired by that song in a way, or so to speak. And so I just naturally was like, "Oh, this is the Secret Visitor," but then a couple of people have brought it up. It's like, why wouldn't you do Fermentor? And it's just like, all right, well,
Yeah.
the masses have spoken, and
I also thought
we
of
listen to them.
Fermentor.
Yeah, that was maybe a stretch.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's,
And I just turned up my volume. I hope I'm the right volume now. Is this
yeah,
better?
yeah, we can hear you very well.
Sound wonderful.
You're
So,
actually louder than them, I think. So
Okay.
Stop yelling at us, dude.
Split the difference.
so yeah, you could use the one.
Yeah.
Because Fermentor, that's going to be, you could use that any tour. And I was thinking, well, maybe this one is like specific to this release or something, and maybe you wouldn't get to use it again. So that was why I was.
Yeah, you're not wrong. In a way, it is. I mean, we were hoping for this tour to promote Mind Meld specifically because we have some other stuff coming out soon. And so then when we tour again, inevitably we'll place or, hype more of that, I suppose. Yeah, I guess that was part of it. But it's also, this would be our first one with Fermentor. So calling it the Fermentor does feel sort of, the original and kind of the first. It could also just be like Fermentor 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
Roman numerals ad nauseum.
I would
So
do that.
are you guys touring? I mean, you guys self-booked it? Is it you guys?
Yeah.
Like, what are the other bands on there? Is it just gonna be local bands, or how are you guys doing it?
Well, we when I was touring in Europe, Almost Dead is a band from the Bay Area that opened for us in
I
Europe.
remember them.
And so we hooked on with them, are going to do a few shows with them. And then Zach from that band has another band, which is sick. That's called Dot Cursor. So they're sort of doing half with them, half with Dot Cursor. And just kind of took the opportunity to kind of just see what other bands we knew in the area and just take advantage of just setting up cool local shows,
Oh, fuck yeah, there it is.
I got
Hell
dates
yeah.
for
Long
you
Beach,
guys.
for the listeners, Long Beach, July 14th, San Diego, at Supply
Yeah.
and Demand. San
Yeah.
Diego, Chick Cafe.
20,
And we've
24th.
actually added a couple
24th,
shows
24th.
since then.
Yeah, it's a
20
good
thank you.
point. Maybe
Need that
those
Zoom.
numbers are a little small. These are all good notes.
There you go. Now
Yeah.
you can see.
Keep this
July
going.
July
It's very
24th.
helpful.
Long Beach, Supply and Demand, July 25th, San Diego, Chick Cafe, July 27th, my fucking birthday, Lakeport Trauma Fest after party, and then July 28th, Santa Rosa, Taqueria Mila. San Jose. I would assume it would be, it's July 30th. What's a Cupertino X Bar, would be my guess. Right? Would you say
We're
that?
working on it.
Yeah, we
That's
had
what
a
we do.
place that after we booked it went down.
Yeah, they fell through.
So
So
we're-
we're working on it.
But we've also
Okay.
added Oakland on the 29th
Mm-hmm.
at
Nice.
Golden Bull.
Cool.
And we've we're on
Nice.
the cusp of one on the 26th.
Yeah.
But it's too early to say where that one is. But
Exactly.
we just
Well,
thought we'd
and you got-
announce it while it's pretty much happening.
Got
Man,
the Blue
Chick
Lagoon in there.
Cafe.
That's, yeah.
Did you know
Blue
that-
Lagoon's- Go ahead.
Y'all
go
are
ahead,
in Santa
Yes.
Cruz, right?
I am. I mean,
you are.
Joseph, you're going to be there soon, right?
I will be there by July 31st, so I
Nice.
might be there for the show.
Let's
Yeah,
hope
Fuck
so.
yeah.
I'm in
Oh, yeah.
Oceanside, so you guys know what's up.
Oh,
You guys
shit. Okay.
Where are you guys currently at the moment?
We are currently in Sereno Valley.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Not
This
too
is my
far. Yeah,
office.
yeah. Nice. Yeah. So that's like
Awesome, man.
for the folk who don't know the San Diego area. That's what, like
Yeah.
20 minutes from here, something like that.
Yeah.
25.
Yeah. 20 minutes south of you.
Yeah.
San
Chick
Diego's
Cafe, man.
expensive,
That's-
man.
Yeah, it's expensive and expensive. Yeah. But man, the very first time our old band Odious Mortem ever played a show was at the Che Cafe that we went on
Really?
stage. Our old buddies had the Span American Tragedy, this old hardcore band, and they let us like take the end of their set, and we just went on and played a couple songs. It was like in 2002 or some shit like that. I don't
That's
remember.
sick.
That's cool.
And saw cattle decapitation like after the Locust, like we were like in high school, and we're like, what the fuck is this? And it was like
Yeah.
Travis still had long hair and like those days.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Che Cafe is legendary, man, for like a small, awesome. It's on UCSD campus, so people that don't know, but yeah, that's sick. I want to go to that. I'm gonna really try to make it to that. That's
Yeah,
really
it'd be cool to see you. It's also one of the few all ages, like official all ages venues in San
Yeah.
Diego that's worth a damn.
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, totally, dude.
I finally have because I teach a lot of kids music, so I finally have an all ages show where I'm like, hey, you can come, and,
Yeah.
like, so
Yeah.
hopefully there's lots of kids there.
Yeah.
So start mosh pitting.
Are you
and-
are you looking for students? Are you like want to advertise your teaching at all, or
Yeah, I mean, I work at a school called Music Speak Studio. It's in San Ysidro, So
Oh.
it's all the way down south, pretty much 2 miles away from Mexico.
Mhm.
But if you're in that area, it's a great school. We do adults, kids. I teach drums, bass, guitar, keyboard, singing, ukulele. But
Gnarly.
there's everything there. So
Nice.
yeah, Music Speak Studio.
So
Check
what
it
are
out.
ukuleles? What are ukuleles tuned to? Like, what's the normal tuning of a ukulele?
Was it
My
like
dog
fourth,
has
It's G C E A.
fifth fret
Okay.
of a guitar?
So you could think of it
Yeah.
as like the top 4 strings of a guitar,
Okay.
except your D is an octave higher than you're expecting. So you can still like play chords and just pretend it's the top 4 strings of a guitar,
If you
and it'll work.
if you put a capo on the 5th fret and then play down from there, isn't that right? If you G C
You'd have to go to the
on a
7th
guitar.
fret
E and it'd be 7th fret.
because
Is that right?
that would turn the high A into
No,
a E.
fourth string 5th fret would be G, and then
Uh-oh.
3rd string 5th fret would be C. Right? Am I wrong?
My eyes
Like,
are just like going
Uh,
so like,
here we go.
Guitar
Here we
on
go.
the
Wow.
capo on the guitar.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were talking about putting the capo on.
Isn't that it right there?
I thought you meant
Yeah.
you got a
Okay.
ukulele there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. With
I feel like
an
I'm just
octave.
thinking about it.
through the tulips.
yeah.
I mean, it is kind of like a cool instrument for kids to get started to play music. I mean, it's like just a little strummer, like get
it's
a
good
couple
size.
finger patterns.
Yeah,
You know?
get them used to holding down strings, and sort of it doesn't hurt as much as
Yeah.
Also, there's felt picks, so you can just like
Hmm.
and you're not
Felt
destroying the
picks.
strings. Yeah,
Interesting.
but they're like
Does-
hard. It's like hard felt. It's cool.
Is it for strumming? Just mainly for obviously you're not doing like riffs on fucking ukuleles, right?
Well, like with now with the brand new felt pick, you can.
Nice.
So a sponsor today is our
speaking
felt
of-
picks.
Speaking of ukulele, just gotta one more little shout out to our Hawaiian adventurer. He is
he's in Hawaii.
out there right now in Hawaii, and he'd be very happy. This picture actually he took, I think, in Hawaii last time he was there. And he's kind of he goes there like every year. I've never even been to Hawaii, and he
Me
goes
neither.
like every year.
Yeah, sick invite.
Anthony's
I know, right? And also,
yeah,
he
it's
got married there when I was like the brokest in my life. I was like, sick, dude.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
Just come up with thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
that you
totally
could just
right.
Go down the road, you son of a gun, just because you want to fucking with
This-
palm trees and waves and shit. Anyways.
pre-IT Joel was
I know, right? I know. Actually, I'm gonna be a bridesman for Carrie's sister Jody's. She's getting married. She's like the toughest, tough. She's a fire captain in Monterey, and but I've known her my whole life. She's basically like a sister to me.
Jody
and she's
rules.
like, "You're in the wedding party," and I look at the fucking list, and it's like, "You're a bridesman." I'm like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like,
know,
she
yeah.
told me she messaged me saying I'm gonna be a bridesmaid. And I was like, well, do I have to wear a dress or what's going on here? I don't know. I don't know the correct order of business here. But yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing. So I'm going to be in the wedding party on the woman's side. So
Cool.
That's awesome.
I guess it's normal. I've never heard that before as far as because
Yeah.
there's another guy. It's like a fucking CrossFit legend who's super buff that's going to be next to me as the bridesman. And I'm going to be like, I guess we're tough bridesmans. I don't know what we're trying to do, but that's a thing, I guess. So
Weddings
congratulations
famously you're supposed to look tough at.
Yeah.
Joel, I think you should actually bick your head this whole fake. Bick.
Oh no, I can't. I can't. Bick my
Looks
head,
good on
dude.
you, dude. Don't you guys think?
When I used to tour, I used to buzz it just for maintenance. I didn't want to deal with I'd see all the other guys with long hair in the band, and they're just all combing knots every morning, and I'm like, that looks disgusting to me. I can't deal with that. And they were just all making fun of me. It was whatever, short hair. Well, they were you're not even metal, dude. Fucking
Who
blah,
was
blah.
making
I'm like,
fun
whatever,
of you?
dude.
You have to lie. He's making this
Yeah.
up. I was there.
It's pretty nice to it's pretty nice to wake up and just be like, all right, I look the same. Let's go do the show. That was my main purpose behind shaving the head. But once I decided that I didn't want to do the touring lifestyle full time, then I was like, all right, well, I can shower now. I can do.
It's amazing how much
normal-
grease hair can collect
It's
in a
disgusting.
short period of time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a greasy son of a. Just my
you
face
guys-
alone.
You guys gonna cut your hair before tour?
No, I this is when I try and grow it the fastest.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, do you guys stay in hotels a lot, or you guys how many are you doing daily showers on tour, or are you?
It's a
Or you
good
just-
question. This one's a little more of a. We haven't done this before, just the two of us.
Yeah, what's cool about
Yeah.
Fermentor is that it's a 2-piece. So like we
Oh, okay.
are,
Nice.
you know, it doesn't. It's not
Money
like you got to
savers.
feed a village. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You just
Yeah.
gotta. It's like you don't have to
Yeah.
house a village.
Right.
We're just two. You know, so it's gonna be a lot easier. I think. You know, we know people along the way, but it's like just if you grab a hotel room, it's like, you know, like hopefully we're selling
Grab a
merch.
couch.
Hopefully we're making money at the door. You know.
Our other band, Beekeeper, we've gone on tour with 3 times, and we
Nice.
had a whole van that was outfitted with an AC, and it could convert into a futon. Like the seat could convert into a futon in the back, so we would all just sleep in there. You know, crash in
Nice.
Walmart parking lots and stuff like that. But we don't have access to the van anymore, and so you know we're minivanning it up
Yeah.
the coast this time.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people
So-
crashing at the Walmart parking lot up here, but I don't think they're on tour. It's kind of,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's sad.
Permanent
Kinda
tour,
feel-
but not travel. But yeah, no, I mean
Yeah.
that's actually cool for you know, I always was freaking out back in like 2010, 2009, just staying in Walmart parking lots. I didn't even know that was their thing, but they just didn't fuck with us. So I'd be like, all right, well, that's okay then. We'll just constantly do that, you know? Because and also
Yeah.
too, socks, you know, Walmart like in the middle of tour, getting
Sure.
like just random necessities. And in Santa Cruz, there's no Walmarts allowed here. So
Yeah.
for us to like be able to experience one and like be like,
Mhm.
what, everything's fucking like a quarter of the price like for where
Yeah.
I'm from, and it's like grab like a bunch of shit that we need, and it was, and then
Yeah.
watch the people, like, you know, that was one of my
It's-
favorite tour
it's amazing
things to
when
go do.
When you realize on tour, just like, oh, I can just buy new boxers, like
I
Mhm.
know.
like way
My
better.
favorite story
you
is Casey on tour. We're like in Victoria in
There
Canada,
you go.
and he sees a Walmart and he's all, dude, these boxers are only like fucking, they're like $4 a pack, dude. This is fucking insane. And then he pulls them out and they're like little kids boxers. There's like, it's mediums, dude, whatever, dude. And like,
Forgot
he,
about
like they
that.
were like this big around.
Medium boy size. Fuck. I still wore him. Fuck it. It just is painful.
Yeah. Every time I go on tour, I literally bring every pair of underwear I own.
That's
So
smart.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we're
You
making
never
room.
know.
We're
You
making
never
room.
know. You know.
And also too,
walking-
just you're gonna have to double wear sometimes. You have to double wear, triple wear sometimes. For me, I don't like to change my clothes unless I shower. So I don't like to put on clean clothes when I'm gross. To me, that just feels like there's some sort of greasy factor. I feel where I'm just like, ugh,
Yeah.
like
A
I just want
layer.
to live in the filth, you know.
I understand
until
that.
I can wash, until I can wash
Mhm.
off.
You don't want to
'Cause for whatever-
sully the clean clothes.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
waste.
Then you feel like you're doing them a disservice. Like they got clean, and then you just stay dirty, and just immediately they're dirty. But I know everyone's fucking.
The
What the
government.
hell's going
The
on?
fuck?
I know we should have
That's
changed
so
my
funny.
fucking caption to Anthony.
Yeah.
So it just solve a lot of fucking mysteries. But I'm not like, so now it's like are you like a skinhead now? What's going on? But yeah, no, that's definitely Walmart's key, and that's still going on, right? Walmart allows bands.
Yeah. And
to stay
Target.
there.
But you have
Well,
to have a
yeah,
slightly
we've-
nicer car.
Not all of them have
Yeah,
been successful
like
for
we've
us.
had people like knock and be like, "Hey man, you gotta get out of here,
Yeah,
dude."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
here
they
and
were
there.
really annoying about it because they were like, "Okay, like you don't have to go like this second, it's okay, but we'll come back in like 30, but you do have to go." And they made it like it was like, okay, like
Yeah.
we'll,
And
just
it's also
leave,
like-
we'll just leave right now.
We were already asleep, and they're like waking us up. in the middle of the night.
That's
They
the
know
worst.
that.
Yeah, they're doing it.
Colorado
just to
Springs. I think that was in Colorado
That was
Springs.
definitely Colorado
be
Springs.
dicks. Okay.
But also the crazy thing about the sleeping in the Walmart parking lot is then you wake up and the first thing you do in the morning is go into a Walmart,
Yep.
which is a really
Yeah.
insane, fluorescent experience.
The best.
At least for me, it's very overwhelming.
It's almost like a mushroom trip. Just like
yeah, it feels
like
very
what reality is.
surreal walking in
Yeah.
there. But I should
No,
say
100
also the gallon coffees in there are a lifesaver on tour.
Mm.
So that was, that was something I did a lot.
Yeah, it seems like an incentive for them to have bands there. I mean, people are gonna have to eat. They're gonna have to buy stuff. It's like they're traveling. Like
Yeah.
it just. I mean, it seems like Colorado Springs. Like I can understand maybe because they're a little on the conservative extra, maybe top
Maybe.
5 in the United States side. So I could see them going like, "Get the fuck out of here, you gross van." I could see that a little
Yeah.
bit. Certain
They
towns
they
like
were
that.
kinder than that, but perhaps that was their thinking.
That was their office.
Yeah.
There was an
conversation.
underlying "get off my lawn" energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also,
yeah.
it's in the middle of summer and the AC is going on the van, so it's probably just like,
Yeah.
2 a.m,
Hmm.
Well, shit. I guess we should. Should we just start? Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a couple things to plug actually
Go for
before we get too far into it. One is that Diego Sanchez, my band member and guitarist of Disgorge, had a unfortunate accident with his guitar when we showed up in Switzerland last month, and basically the airline fucked his guitar up. Now, couple people have taken the reins on funding a replacement guitar for him. The guy whose name is attached to the GoFundMe is Sam Mansfield, who's actually the promoter taking us out to the UK, and he just got this shit going, dude. He asked the community to help him out, and they already actually hit their goal. So I'm going to shout out the names here of everyone who donated to the Riff Wizard Guitar Replacement Fund. So shout out Daniel Benavides, who's another band member. Sean May, you know who it's up. Brutal Mind Indonesia with the super sick support. And Brutal Mind is like, they're the ones who print all the Disgorge merch for us these days. And anyway, so they're super supportive. Shout out Ben Holstone, Matt Day from Stabbing, Philip Hunter, and Shells of Eden, I believe, Chris Rotzius, Joseph Whitehurst, Chris Gross, Ed Talorda, the legend.
Also Disgorge.
Kahori, this guy, Bryce Trapani. I don't know. The name sounds familiar, but not really ringing any bells. Super. So
Never heard of her.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, Sasha.
Sasha Kroshewitz. From Gorgasm. Aaron Izquierdo, Vaughn, the homie Stuffy from Defeated Sanity. Shout out Scott Baumgartner and Steve Crow from Condemned. So you guys already raised enough to meet the goal. So that was just really cool. This all happened today. So that was just really
before I even
shit.
got off work, dude. I didn't even have a chance.
I didn't even see this.
I literally haven't. I shared it. I haven't even donated. I will throw some money, but yeah, that's cool.
I mean,
so.
keep throwing money and you can get like an American made, like expensive, like like $3,000.
Get like a custom design fucking Diego
guitar,
or get two of them. The backup,
wizards and shit all over it.
But so I want to just quickly, the lore behind this is that we got to Rock the Hell Festival in Switzerland, and Diego opens his case, and I was like one of the first 3 or so people to like see the broken BC Rich. This is like the iconic guitar that's been, he's played it ever since, I don't know, over 20 years, they said in the description here. So 22 years. Yeah. So that thing has been in every Discord show, every fucking video, all that shit. So pretty gnarly that it, didn't get handled properly.
I remember back in the day, he played a bitch. He had played a BC. Was it the bitch?
He had a bitch model. Yeah, that was the other BC Rich he used to play.
Come on, Jesus.
But then forever he's had this. It's a Warlock.
This one is.
What is that? No,
that's a Beast.
This is
a Beast.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
But then luckily Sam Mansfield, who was also playing Switzerland, had his own Beast with him, tuned to C standard. So Diego had his own guitar to play for this show.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
God.
And we thought we were going to just use that same guitar, but I think we'll now have this replacement guitar instead for us in UK. So sorry for the very long plug, which
that's cool. That's awesome, man. I'm glad they raised the amount they were looking for, and Diego's such a nice dude. That sucks that happens, but it's great that he got a new instrument.
Yeah,
cool. You should get a new guitar and get that one fixed.
Yeah.
That's a tough break there at the headstock on. I don't know if it's a neck through or not, but
so it's not a neck through. He said he can replace the neck on that thing. It was interesting. He thought about leaving it in Switzerland because otherwise he'd have to maybe pay for it to come back. But basically, we finagled it with the the team. So he actually did a carry on back, which is obviously how he should have taken it there. But anyway, he's like carrying a broken guitar on the fucking airplane with him, and then they couldn't fit it in overhead, so they like had a spare seat, so they just like threw it up next to somebody.
Damn.
So there's just somebody sitting next to like a guitar case, which is hilarious.
Also, I don't really think. I mean, that's like a sketchy thing to do, is to bring your guitar carry on, unless you have like a Strandberg or something that's like small, because they're gonna check that shit in no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen people try to bring like cases in. There's like, all right, no, take it, give it to the person they're gonna bring in there.
When I went to Europe, I brought my atheist drum heads like as a carry-on in a plastic bag as my carry-on, so that we could have like atheist on the drum heads in the tour, because I'd already maxed out all my suitcases with all my pedals and dumb, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is
the
You
kick
gotta
drum
do what
head?
you gotta do.
The 22-inch?
Yeah.
Or wow.
Yeah.
You fit the kick and a carry on. That's impressive.
It was
The
literally
kick
just like, it was like a cymbal bag.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
get
say it's
from-
probably a cymbal bag. Yeah.
and then- but it was like jammed in there, and then I like put tape around it so it wouldn't break. So it like it just looked like crap. And one guy thought it like wouldn't fit through the X-ray, but it did. Because what's also funny is I have a bunch of merch, so I had like one suitcase full of merch, one suitcase full of like drum stuff, all my like personal items just like in a backpack, and then like holding on to these drum heads. I was like a salesman on the road.
Yeah, traveling as a musician is always like, now that I've started to do it
Roll
more.
the dice.
I mean, did you bring like your trigger module and your like personal mixer? Because that they always want to unpack that shit and see. And it's funny when you open it up, it's like a bunch of cables and shit. Like
Yeah, no,
looks all
exactly.
kind of what they're looking for. So
What's funny is I have like a backpack full of like a multi-tool and all this stuff that I usually just put in my suitcase, but because of something I had to take it out of the suitcase because it was too heavy, and then I put it through the X-ray, and I forgot that I had like a knife and or like a multi-tool with like a blade on it, and they like put me aside, and like it took forever, and then I had my DI box, which just looks like a bomb, you know what I mean? It's just like a little thing. So the guy was like, look, just
Swab it.
just look
One
at
of
it.
these?
Yeah.
Oh, he wishes it had that Jensen transformer in there.
Hmm.
It's just that standard
Jensen
radial,
transformer.
standard radial DI. You got that fancy stuff, Joseph.
Damn.
Nice. Yeah,
I think Chris Beatty told me to get me to get this one. I don't
yeah,
remember.
that's a great one.
It's on a Sweetwater credit card. I don't know if I can pay for it.
No, we're
It's one of my worst going through the TSA experiences was when I was a kid. I don't know if it was even called TSA back then, but it was they took my I was traveling from California to New Mexico to visit my grandparents, and I brought my Nintendo, my original Nintendo, and they took my duck hunt gun because it was a gun.
no.
And
Wow.
they said no, it's a gun thing. And I was like, dude. And my dad was like, "What the fuck?" You know, like
It
kind of
looks
lost
pretty
it.
realistic, you know. Shit.
Yeah, it's so real. It's like 7 ounces. You know, it's like really
Got a
gun like.
cable attached.
My dog has to poop. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
No.
but
I
no,
have
it's
to
like.
too. I'll stay.
But no,
though.
just the fact that they took that, I was like, all right, where's the line? Because the shape, like if it's a cookie, that's like fucking looks like a gun. I don't know. That just got me a little bit.
Yeah,
But,
that was them just trying to be sticklers at that point.
There's certain times you see shit like that too. Like, I mean, even I brought a little thing of salsa from New Mexico back, and they're like,
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll order it online after I bought it there. But you know, it was like a small amount too, and they're like, and they know exactly what salsa is because it's famous out there, and they're just like, no, you have to leave it, dude. They're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, the border between like liquids and solids you don't really think about until you're getting on a plane, and you're like, is this yogurt is it like kefir style drinkable yogurt, or is this like a solid like Greek you know, like you really have to start caring about those
a solid
fucking
C4 yogurt,
orders,
just like yeah.
because I'm all
But,
about loading up for the plane. But yeah,
no, for sure. I guess we'll get started with our format that Anthony usually does. But I put a hat on because I couldn't look at myself and talk to you guys like that anymore.
I didn't even notice. Yeah.
Yeah, you
was a
can't.
smooth
I got a haircut
transition.
today, so it's short anyway. But anyways, yeah, we'll start just left to right because I see Wally and Dylan. So we'll start Wally. So just the whole format. So bring us back to when you first were a kid. getting into music, getting into art, whatever it was, like back to what your parents were listening to and all that fun stuff. Like, what kind of got you turned on to music or into art in general?
Yeah, I think my dad had a pretty big CD collection. I mean, I had vinyls when I was younger, but it was like, I was really young. I was born in 85, so I had vinyls for a little while, but it was all like kid stuff mostly, and I didn't really know how to use the record player at that time. But my dad ended up having a big CD collection, and I would go through and dub random tracks off his CDs onto tapes. There was a lot of like, Electric Light Orchestra and Elton John and stuff like that. And I liked that. So I still like that stuff. But there really wasn't anything too heavy. Probably the heaviest stuff he had was maybe like ZZ Top or Robert Palmer or, something like that. AC/DC maybe. But I think the first album I ever bought was a Michael Jackson CD. And I was very into it at that time. But as far as how that started, I gotta assume it was Thriller.
It's gotta be. Wasn't the Free Willy soundtrack?
Ooh, I definitely had the Free Willy soundtrack.
Yeah, me too.
I loved that. Yeah,
that's the first movie that I was like actually embarrassed because when Willie jumped over the thing and they were playing that song, that Hold Me.
Yeah. It's a banger.
Dude, as a kid, that was the first kind of like overwhelming emotion where I was like, oh shit, this is like
tremendous.
He's making it. It was like the whole like putting his hand up like and all that stuff. And I was like crying and being like, shit, I'm crying at this movie. I don't know why I was so concerned about that, but I was like, this is like an emotion. I don't feel like I need to tell him. Yeah. There's not like, there's not anyone dying or anything, any crazy kiss at the end. And the kiss at the end, I'll just be like, okay, movie's ending, we get it. But like that part, I was just like, it hypes you up the whole time. It's hard time in the fucking, SeaWorld or whatever, and then just gets like let loose, and you're just like fucking rooting for him, and then he does it, and
freedom.
And that was probably, I'm 84, so that was what 9 years old, 10 years old when that came out.
Gosh,
I forget what year that came out.
Or something, 92. Maybe.
I remember that was a prominent VHS on the shelf.
Definitely.
I don't know when I got it, but another soundtrack I had that was huge for me was Wayne's World. I listened to that constantly. But I have to assume I was probably a little older at that point when I had the Wayne's World soundtrack. But that introduced me to a little bit.
You know what songs too? Airheads, that movie Airheads.
I love the shit out of that movie. It's one of my favorite.
It's like it's one of my favorite ones. That one Reagan Youth is it the main Johnny Tuesday night? Johnny
Johnny all right. I just don't understand. Yeah,
exactly.
That's right. And they just stole it. And also the whole movie is like waiting to hear this song. Like they keep withholding it, right? Like they try and play it on the thing and it burns up, and then that's the whole movie. And then at the end, you finally hear the song, and it's that song, and you're like, it's pretty cool. But I don't know if we need to go.
That's definitely Brendan Fraser singing that, right? Because it sounds like his.
It sounds like him, his Jarl.
Yeah. There's certain celebrities that shred. I mean, I really liked "Walk Hard" with John C. Reilly, and I thought that he's actually like the songs were actually kind of catchy and good. And I was like, I mean, it seems like that song I actually liked as a kid, the Reagan Youth one, but it just seemed like I went to hear the original and I was like, ah, I was like, God damn it. But so getting back to the timeline, so where were we in the timeline? Sorry, no, there's both these.
I was just talking about
look at this guy.
Oh wow, he's just gone. God, that's sort of eerie.
Both of them are gone, jerks.
So I was just talking about the CDs that I sort of started up on. I don't know if you want me to keep going or if you want to have his early.
Yeah, let's do a double, kind of catch each other up to the same.
We'll just kind of bounce back
kind of thing. That's a good idea rather than just going all the way through one. So same thing with you.
My first CD was Queen: A Night at the Opera.
Fuck yeah.
It's got classics. Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon is a weird song, but I still love it to this day. I I only started playing music when I was like 15, 16, pretty late.
What were the parents listening to? What was going on in the household? Like, were there influences, brothers, sisters?
A lot of my parents are from Zimbabwe, so a lot of like world music, a lot of like African stuff. And then also Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, my parents were sort of hippie-ish, so like Bob Dylan and Van Morrison and kind of stuff like that. And then you know, then I found Red Hot Chili Peppers when I was 14, and that was the first band that I was like obsessed with.
Hell yeah.
And then I kind of moved on to like Iron Maiden, and which is still pretty much my favorite band. But what's funny is that I got myself into Iron Maiden because I literally had LimeWire and was just sitting at the computer, and I was like, I can listen to anything I want. And all of a sudden, like in my brain, I was like, oh, I think there's that band Iron Maiden. Like, I wonder if they're cool, and they were. So I just
It
They
just
were.
worked out.
literally nobody showed me Iron Maiden. I was like, I think I've heard of that band. That's a band, right? And then I listened to it, and it was
Do
Iron
you remember?
Maiden.
Do you remember the album that was your favorite at first?
Well,
or
it
song
was
on-
like I think I just typed in Iron
Yeah.
Maiden into LimeWire. So I remember it was like a handful of songs. It was Phantom of the Opera.
Oh yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Hallowed Be Thy Name.
Oh yeah.
It was Remember Tomorrow,
Yep.
which
Nice.
is a great song.
Yeah.
I think like Die With Your Boots On.
I love that song.
And then I started going, you know. But my favorite album is Power Slave.
Oh, cool.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Casey definitely had
Sweet.
a Iron Maiden renaissance. Not a renaissance, but when I was living with him, he was traveling from Santa Cruz to San Jose every day. And he was like, dude, I've just been singing Iron Maiden the whole way there and back. And then we went to
Yeah.
karaoke once, and he had been
Not-
practicing because he
But not by
destroyed.
myself.
like
I
a-
just
He had like a standing ovation of like the
Oh,
whole
no.
crowd of him
Oh,
being
that's awesome.
fucking Bruce Dickinson. It was hilarious.
yeah.
I didn't see it coming. It just blew everyone away. But yeah, no, Iron Maiden was fucking humongous. That was definitely, I don't know. I'm just fucking not knowing how to host stuff. But so LimeWire. So you typed in like stuff into LimeWire. I'm just kidding. But anyway, so that was no, but Queen. That's your first album was Queen.
Yeah. And maybe
Nice.
that's why, you know, I like dynamic, crazy,
Mhm.
weird music, you know.
Yeah, I guess me coming from Electric Light Orchestra and you coming from Queen is sort of like kind
Yeah.
of works, you know. But yeah, I ended up getting into like alternative music out of that, and then like pop punk at that time, like late 90s, early 2000s, and then got into new metal, and that got me into more extreme music, like getting into Slipknot and Mudvayne and stuff like that. And that just I think the first time I heard Morbid Angel was around that time, and then that was that, and I was like, oh, music can be like this. I'm much more interested in this.
What
and
got you over the growl? Like the getting into the growl? Like what?
Yeah,
'cause
I
I know
think-
that's always a thing.
Yeah, for sure. And I remember the first time I heard Slayer, I was like, nope, can't do it, you know. And then I think I heard Pantera after that, and I was like, okay, this makes more sense to me. And then sort of retroactively going back to Slayer, and like, oh no, this is actually amazing.
I was literally about to say Slayer is what got me into the like
Yeah.
because I mean when I was a senior in high school, I had Rain and Blood in my CD player for the whole year. And I like it took me like 6 months to just be like, what the hell is this? And then like the second 6 months to be just like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But I just always thought his voice sounded so like, I was like, oh, I get it. It sounds cool. Like it's not supposed to sound good.
Right.
It's supposed to sound cool.
It's got like
and it does
character,
sound cool.
and
I don't know.
and
That's
he
a
has, and he has
distinction.
range, and you know, he's still like doing it in interesting ways, but yeah, it's not supposed to sound like, you know, Freddie Mercury.
And
Yeah.
coming from Queen and like
Yeah.
other stuff, you're like, all right, is this guy good or is this like,
Right.
why does everyone like this man? But no, yeah, it's definitely just like badass. It's like
Yeah.
scary. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Fun.
you know?
Yeah, the feeling
Yeah.
it gave me was new, and in a way it was how I felt when I would see horror movies as a kid, which was like, this is disturbing to me and I like it and I don't know why, and I want to like explore this feeling and try and understand it. And so then it's just like trying to find anything that like gives me that feeling. And so yeah, just diving deeper and deeper into extreme music until, you know, you hit some point where you're just like, all right, I'm good.
All right. I'm not scared anymore. My
Yeah,
skin
yeah,
stuff.
Now,
I
yeah,
get it.
and
Yeah.
you like learn the vernacular of it, and it becomes more like common. Then you can just like speak the language, sort of enjoy it.
Yeah. That cracks
Wait.
me up. That's Slayer, like Sepultura to Slayer. That was like Sepultura, Pantera, Slayer. Those was like the trifecta for me when I was a kid. And I was like, Sepultura kind of like walked me into it a little bit. Then Pantera like was like, all right, this is like catchier version of it. Then Slayer, that live intrusion video of like Tom Araya just looking around going, kill, kill. And I remember being like a kid being like, that is the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. Like I still like remember that moment. Just like I need to go watch that again. That was like him playing At Dawn They Sleep. And for whatever reason, that just like I'm all, damn, this fucker is not fucking around. Like this guy is scary.
I once heard a story of like in the 80s, Slayer was playing in some sort of theater, and I don't even know what song it is, but it was going, and then it comes to like a stop, like so it was like and then in that like silence, Tom Araya just like points to a guy in the balcony and just goes, jump, and the guy just jumps off the balcony, and the song continues, like, and I was just like, oh man, like, and I like it was like jump. You know, like I always think like, man, if you pointed at me, I might have jumped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone's looking at you in that moment.
yeah.
all
Like,
waiting.
I was like, you got to do it.
Yeah. That's
At
brutal.
a Slayer show, fuck, when you're young, you're just like,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Like, I'm in a
it's like
predicament now.
1986.
Oh my god,
Damn.
that sounds insane. It's like you remember Stormtroopers of Death, like Billy Milano just being like this humongous dude and just like getting on the highest rafter and just backflipping on the people, like that shit too. That was like the style of like, it was like thrash. You have to just go bananas, and if you like the light goes on you and you're just like, no, then everyone's like, dude, like that sucks. That I can see myself doing it.
You don't want to be that guy.
We got a question from Sick Drummer Magazine here. Dylan, did they film you with Atheist?
Yeah.
Real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, you filmed me in Phoenix. You did a Mother Man video. So
Yeah. It's a sick video, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
goodie.
a Sick Drummer video.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Shout
Right
out
on.
Sick Drummer, man. They're gonna put something out from me pretty soon. So
Oh, cool.
Nice.
go to Sick Drummer tomorrow or check their YouTube channel tomorrow.
So,
Shout out Ian.
I mean, cool.
It's like
Oh,
me
yeah.
and Wally are the only
All right,
people who
hell
haven't
yeah.
been on Sick Drummer now.
I'm JK Joseph K, by the way. So hit me up
Sick.
for that. Shout out Ian, who's celebrating his 26th anniversary with his wife today.
Wow.
And
Damn.
still made it to hang out with us tonight after.
Wow.
Very,
Congrats.
very
Awesome,
cool.
dude. We love
Yeah.
you, man. That he always is here throwing questions in, like legitimate, cool questions. I'm always.
yeah.
It's like he's like a comfort for me when I see him. I'm like, oh,
Ian
Ian's
is a fifth co-host, is how I feel, really.
here. Yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
I mean, he's the host of this awesome podcast as well. So,
Oh, he just threatened us, but in a good way.
Yeah,
I
he's
would
never gonna
nominate
watch this fucking show again.
Casey should be on the next round table, the Sick Drummer round table with four drummers.
yeah, we got to put out some. I got to put out some music like you. I got all these things that are not being put up for some. I don't know what's going on. But Joseph, that Last of Lucy shit's incredible. You should. You're like.
Well, that's
relevant.
coming out. That's the video
not out
dropping
yet?
tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice.
That's the playthrough video. There's a couple videos coming out. So yeah. But since Atheist got mentioned, I wanted to throw it back to this fucking comment, which I must have been while I was gone. Oral music, so your parents were rocking Elements by Atheist.
Yeah.
Fucking
Wow.
funny comment. Thanks.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. When I heard that Kelly was looking for a new lineup, I almost threw my hat in, and I just was like, I don't know what I would play. Like, I learned some of those songs on guitar. I learned some of the songs on bass. I learned, like, it was like I don't even know what kind of musician I am, and it kind of made me question my identity. But I was like very sick to see. It was very sick to see you and a bunch of other kind of younger guys, in the sense of, not Kelly's age, especially Alex, who we've had on the pod before.
Yeah.
Get this opportunity. And dude, I mean, the full discography, but especially with Kelly, we've talked about it, but Unquestionable Presence for me is like a top tier album. It's just one of my absolute favorites. And I've covered songs off Piece of Time with my high school band, and so I know that material too. And Elements I own on CD. So yeah, we're all just huge Atheist heads. We're all atheists.
That's amazing. I'm
We'll
honored.
give you a chance to spitball on that.
I think I remember what it. I just started hanging out with, we had Paul Masvidal on the podcast, and then he was in San Diego and he hit us up and we were hanging out and it was just like, just hanging in. We just got to know each other. And then he was like, he's like, hey, my buddy Kelly just hit me up and they're going to do a tour. We're thinking of doing a tour with Cynic and this and that. But he talked about, maybe this was a different conversation, but he was like, yeah, they need a whole new lineup and this. And I remember him saying that. I think that's when I mentioned it, Joseph, or something. And you were like considering it and all this anyways. But I said this to Kelly last time he was on too. But I mean, I saw them before with Suffocation or whatever, way like years back. And then it was like really good. It was awesome and stuff. And then I fucking saw them with you guys and that lineup and stuff. And I was just like, I don't know how it was like better. I don't know how. I mean, they were really good too, but I was just like, that drummer, dude. I was like, that fucking drummer is great. And then I found out you're local San Diego dude.
Yeah. Wow,
when I
awesome.
talked to you and shit. So yeah. So and he was going on about how Kelly was, how stoked he was about you guys in the band and the lineup, and just you guys are great players and cool people and all that, of course, and stuff. And then when I got to go to the show, our buddy David, the San Diego show at Brick by Brick, our buddy David Warbreaker did the opening set, and then we got to hang out at the sound check. And then I came up and I saw you setting up your drums, and we were talking.
Yeah.
Got to meet you there. And it was just really, I guess I had seen you play already with Atheist, I think, or maybe I can't remember, but I've seen you multiple times.
Did you do the Suffocation tour with
No, that wasn't me. The tour. It's funny because the tour with Cynic was the first tour I did. So it's like everything in that happened in that conversation happened, which is a trip. But it was a cool process. I was happy that my name was thrown into the ring, and then I just spent months and months and months and months learning songs. Literally learning songs, playing. I played Mother Man 10,000 times. I listened to it. I made videos. I sent them to Kelly. He was like, "Hey, this is so. Can you make a better one?" And I was like, "Okay." And then I redid it, and then I redid it again, and it was literally the biggest challenge of my entire life, but it was like the best challenge of my life, and it's made me a way better drummer. But I learned like pretty much the whole discography. I'd learn every tiny little fill, like it's like when you're learning drums, you learn the beats, but it's like with drums, you can just kind of spur the moment, throw in a little fill, a little thing here and there. And when you're learning the song, you don't think like, oh, this is part of the composed song. This is just like a fill he threw. And then I realized that every single fill was like very specific, and Kelly knew them all because he's like, me and a bunch of people around the world have been listening to these songs for 30 years. So when the guitar solo is coming up, it's like they need that fill that they're used to hearing, that red Steve Flynn fill, otherwise it's not going to so it was so hard to remember like all the tiny little nuances, and also how it's not like it's not done with a metronome, so there's a lot of ebb and flow, and some transitions are just weirdly slow just because that's how it was. The guys that wrote the original songs, like I love Unquestionable Presence, and they were all so talented, but also were unencumbered by music theory. They didn't know the rules, they didn't know proper like how things land. So because that they were having ideas that weren't necessarily fitting into the little boxes that we're kind of used to dealing with. And it's like, no, it's not da na na, it's da na na. It's like there's a little it's like we're not even dealing with like quantifiable units. It's just it's like some parts you almost like can't explain. You just have to like know where it kind of goes. So it really took me months and months and months to like really understand the music and absorb it, and like play that song so many times where now I don't have to focus on what the parts are. Now I can focus on making it sound good as I play it. And from the beginning I was I love to grind out parts. I love to make things sound good. So Kelly appreciated my work ethic, and me and him are similar. We're perfectionists in terms of like things have to be perfectly on, otherwise we're, you know, it's like it's there is no second best. It's got to be like nailed. So you know, we get along really well, and you know, there's just so many. It's made me think, because I used to think like, oh, all these beats are wrong, or all these beats are weird, like you chose this beat on this riff, but then I just realized that, you know, the songs are just written from a completely different perspective that I'm now like happy to kind of have, because now when I'm being creative and writing songs or writing stuff with Fermentor, I can see all these different choices. I can see, you know, the way I hear it, the way I think it should be, the way I think it not necessarily should be, but could be, and might be more interesting because it's different. And, you know, so, yeah, but when I'm on stage on Questionable Presence, I'm like, I'm living my best life, just playing those songs. Like
That's awesome.
It's the
Nice.
best.
Yeah, I remember actually sitting next to Alex. We were in a wedding party. We were on Jared from Archaics. We were in his groomsmen, and we were going. They did like a train ride up to the wedding and stuff like that. And he's like, "Hey, dude, so I got an offer from Atheist to play guitar," and I was like, "Dude, that's fucking insane!" Like he's such a fucking just like Kelly just knows how to find these like crazy musicians that are just like these kind of people that aren't like, you know, big huge names that are, oh, he got this guy or this guy. It's like he finds these people that are just insanely talented, and then watching you guys like perform live. We saw the we were at the show of the Focus Atheist tour. That was not the same one?
No, I didn't see that tour. You did, but I didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was absolutely like the rambunctious nature of Atheist is underrated too, because I always think of like
I love that.
prog, like you know, like, oh, it's gonna be like Latin and a bunch of cool things and stuff like that. But the fucking it just brings people to mosh like crazy and just get into it, you know. And you wouldn't think, I mean, a lot of the other stuff is kind of like bringing that on, but some of that stuff's like fucking so experimental that you think, like, all right, so we're here to like, it's nerds here to watch these fuckers play this music that we've always heard our whole life. But damn, you guys,
Yeah.
I mean, that
They
show,
still rage, like it's still proggy, but it also rages. I was very surprised by that when I saw them play live for the first time, and the energy of it was so insane, and I just wasn't prepared for that. It just blew me away when I saw
and Kelly's energy too, just
Yeah.
on stage, just like running around, being like fucking, just like commanding audiences and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy shit, dude!
No, that's
like,
so
how old are
tight.
you? Like you're fucking like Mick Jagger times 3, like getting up there, like commanding people and stuff, and it was very impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
That's very important to us, is like the show and the energy. I feel like energy is like a word we're always talking about and saying, and it's like, you know, we headbang hard. Like I hit the drums like literally as slow as I'm going is as hard as I'm gonna hit them. Like if like I always want to hit, I like drums just sound the best when they're hit hard and you could feel them, and there's that impact and there's that energy, and it's like you know, when you're this is so distracting.
You saw the comment pop up, and now he's reading the comment.
Oh yeah, sorry.
That was great.
What about this one, dude? Read this paragraph.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. I agree. It is savage. That's a good way to
Cool.
put it. It's
Thanks.
awesome.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Also, it's cool because Steve Flynn, the original drummer, I have a great relationship with. You know, he's texted me a few times. He's extremely encouraging. I've literally like asked him, you know, what, like, I'm like, hey, what's going on in this part? What are you doing? And so it's cool to kind of, you know, like have his blessing, and for him to think I'm doing his parts a service.
That's awesome, man. So I mean, we get back into the where this all got to you playing an Atheist, and we can do the Fermentor thing. So getting back on the timeline, because I want to know the story of how, you know, you didn't just like wake up and get on the internet, play some drums, and be like, all right, I'm gonna be an atheist. Like, there's a fucking story there. As far as Wally, getting back on yours, we're doing the two things at once now.
Yeah.
Like, this is a new thing I haven't ever fucking done, and I have to like remember.
You're doing
stuff.
great, man. You got it.
I forget where we were with Wally though.
Well,
maybe
we kind of fast forwarded a little bit, so we went from sort of the classic rock stuff I was listening with my folks, and then
That's right.
into punk, and then new metal, and then essentially death metal, and then from there it was like Cephalic Carnage and Dimmu
Fuck
Borgir and just a lot of Morbid Angel, and then Suffocation was just like a game changer.
Were you playing actively at this time?
No, so I didn't play guitar until I was 16, and I started
Okay.
on an acoustic because at that time I was like into alternative music, and I think also I'd asked for an electric, but my folks weren't willing to get me one until I had an acoustic first, I guess, which is cool by me at this point. But
I respect it.
yeah, it
Same-
was
yeah.
the right thing to do in the end. Yeah, so I was not playing music when in 8th grade, my friends were in a band, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And so I just wanted to start doing that. So I had done musical theater when I was a kid, and I could like sing okay, and I would write. I liked writing, and so I would have like poetry and shit. So I thought, oh, maybe I can, be a front person or a singer or something like that. So that's how I started out. But they were very high school bands. I never played any shows or anything like that. But it kind of got, I got the bug, and then eventually got an electric guitar, and then I was like, all right, I just want to play guitar all the time.
What was your first electric guitar?
It was a Washburn Dime 333 Lightning guitar, the dime bag. Not the American one, but the Korean, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that thing. Dylan,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn. So it's passed along through the family, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
That's
cool. Right. So that was sort of my genesis into playing music, and then I was consumed by it, and it was really all I wanted to do. I was friends with a couple brothers, and one of them was a bassist, one of them was a drummer, and we played music for a while, and then the bassist kind of fell off, and then it was just me and the drummer, and we would improvise and just make death metal, and that was just sort of what we did for a long time. That project was called Wall Slunk.
Nice.
Shout out to Adam Smilo on that one. But and that was sort of like then I started making stuff on my own. I had a little 4-track recorder at home. I would make music on that. And then I started a band in San Diego called Scenester Holocaust in like 2004 or something like that, maybe a little later. And I was just trying to write, it was very like gore grind era, just trying to write the most extreme, horrifying stuff I could think of. And honestly, most of it was just really stupid and like tongue in cheek and dumb. And
that's most
but the songs
style,
are cool. When I listen to them now, I think the tunes are cool and the lyrics are just really cringy.
Yeah.
But I ended up making another band after that called Trash Axis, and that was at the time a 6-piece, sort of Mr. Bungle like metal meets circus punk nonsense kind of thing. Then that became my sole focus for years. But at that time, that was 2008 when Trash Axis formed. That was also when me and Dylan jammed for the first time.
Yeah, so we're like sort of cousins. At one point, my dad married his aunt.
Whoa.
And that was like before I was born. So like we've known each other our whole lives. So like we're essentially cousins. So I knew we'd always known that we did music. So one of these days, like we need to jam. And pretty much right after I graduated high school. Oh, Zach.
Hell yeah. What's up, Zacho?
Right after I graduated high school, Johnny. Before I went to college, Wally had access to like a garage recording studio. So we jammed, and that became the very first demo we put out in 2008.
Yeah.
So like we've got a bunch of releases, but
yeah, that was at Battle Frost Productions, by the way. A bunch of albums were recorded there.
With Charles.
Yeah, Lord Charles Powell was the head engineer of Battle Frost, and he took me under his wing and taught me a lot of stuff, and kind of changed the trajectory of my life because now I'm a full-time audio engineer, and that's my career. So I owe a lot to Charles. So shout out to him and Battle Frost and getting the opportunity to make a bunch of records there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of like our Zach Oren from Castle Ultimate Battlefront. I don't know. Kind of feels the same. I can see you have the Genelec monitors behind you, so you do that for a living. That's something you do or is it a side hustle?
No, yeah, I do it for a living. I'm a studio technician for PlayStation. This is my office. So these are actually like rear speakers. So I have like a full 5.1 set in here. Yeah,
Dude, these are my
I mean,
shitty ones. I have over my shitty like $800, $1,000 a piece ones, and then we have the ones behind. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. That's cool, man.
No,
So
I'm
what do
very
you
lucky. Yeah.
So you work on like like constructing
Yeah.
sound and soundscapes and video games.
I support
that
the
kind
sound designers and dialogue editors and recordists here. I don't generate the sounds myself, but I help design their monitoring systems and troubleshoot their equipment. And
What's
yeah.
your favorite Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack?
It's gotta be. Is it Johnny Was a Race Car Driver? The Primus track? Is that
That's
what
off
it
the
was?
Jerry- Jerry.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's or
Nice.
Jerry. Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I always associate. And I played Tony Hawk quite a bit as a kid.
That's
That
One
was
was
actually a
good. One
big
was
influence for a
good,
lot of people.
And 2 was
Wha-
good. Two
Yeah.
had
2 was pretty good.
Guerrilla Radio.
Mm.
Oh
Oh.
dang! Speaking
Yeah.
of Rage Against the Machine, I saw a funny meme the other day where it was like he was doing. I posted it on my thing, but like you can just equate anything to like a style of Limp Bizkit. He was
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that one.
He was like, he said, Linkin Park's emo Limp Bizkit, dude. He's all Deftones is prog Limp Bizkit, and then I think he
Yeah.
might have said he's all Rage Against the Machine's communist Limp Bizkit. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, he like did, but he like went through like a bunch. So any kind of music, you just say it's like a kind of a Limp Bizkit, dude. Whatever.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What would System of a Down be for that? Do you
Okay.
think?
Armenian Limp Bizkit?
Limp Bizkit, I guess, is sort of
Yeah, yeah.
reductive, I suppose. But yeah,
Pretty easy. It's an easy one.
yeah, it's an
We got a
easy one.
question about
Patrick
Patrick.
Castagna, I don't think so. He says he's former manager of technical ops at PlayStation. It's possible. I've only been here since 2020, so I'm sure there are many people that have, walked these hallowed halls, and I haven't met them. But I'll ask around.
So
Okay.
how did you get into that? I mean, we kind of jumped around, but like getting
Yeah.
into the,
I want to hear
you
more
said
about that. Yeah.
You got into the production side of things, and then you were just hired by
Yeah.
PlayStation. So were you recording a bunch of albums, or were you? What was the
Yeah.
like when you got interviewed by
Yeah.
them?
Mhm.
What was your resume? They were like, "Damn."
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I mean, that's my whole, since 2009, basically, that's just been my life, is focusing on audio and playing music. So, shortly after me and Dylan recorded our first demo, which was called Matanza, which you can hear on our Bandcamp, I moved to LA because I wanted to go to the Musicians Institute and go through their recording Institute of Technology program. Because I
Nice.
knew that's what I wanted to do. I thought I might get into movies or something like that. And I was in LA for 5 years, all the while not getting into movies and working with older musicians, people sort of like from previous musical eras. So like this guy, Billy Rader, who was a drummer for Dick Dale,
damn.
or Brian O'Neill, who was in a band called the Bus Boys, if you ever heard of them. They had a song in Ghostbusters called Cleaning Up the Town. But it was a very interesting experience, like working with sort of these older musicians and like people who are still trying to kind of make it, in a way in music at that time. And it was very enlightening, and they gave me a lot of cool experiences in nice studios and stuff like that. But I ended up doing a lot of live sound work for bands around LA and bars and venues and things like that. And during that time, just driving back and forth from San Diego, playing as much music, because I had bands here, Trash Access and Fermentor were still active. And I would just drive back and forth like almost every week to play music, or Dylan or them would come up and play music with me in LA. And so we were still putting out albums, and I would come down. And at the time there was a studio here called Audio Design. And so I'd come down and record us out of there most of the time. Yeah, I guess that's sort of, then I moved back from LA and moved in with Dylan, actually, and we lived in the same place for a while. And at that point we had put out our self-titled Fermentor album, which we recorded in LA, actually, at this place called SKR.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we recorded Rate of Cognition at Audio Design, and that was our next record. And that came out probably 2014. I don't actually know. But yeah, just making lots of albums as much as I could for my bands and friends' bands mostly.
So when did this picture take
Dude, oh my god, it's so funny. I literally was like, I really hope they don't fucking look up my profile. I don't know who put this up here,
This is
but
great.
look, what are you gonna do?
You
Right?
look
It's out
amazing.
there. It's out there in the world, and there's nothing I can do about it now.
I think it's pretty
that
badass.
is-
What's wrong
yeah.
with that?
Fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
That is a
Joel's
beekeeper
missing
photo
this.
shoot right there. Also, I don't know if you guys know Eucharist. That's Dylan's band with Belisario from Cattle Decap. Before Bell was in Cattle, they had Eucharist, and that band's super sick. You should check them out.
Nice.
But yeah, that's from a beekeeper photo shoot for, was that the Slaves to the Nothing?
Yeah. So we're in another band called Beekeeper. It's a 3-piece thrash band. And we that's the one that we've done 3 tours with before COVID. And we have eventually we're putting out our second album. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
But that's like a kind of like a proggy thrash death metal band. We have 2 singles from the new album out on Spotify, so check those out. But we're sort of looking for a home for that album before we just drop it, which we could do. We have vinyls and stuff, but just kind of we always like to have our ducks in a row.
What up, Curtis? Our boy from Angry Caveman.
Oh, nice.
in San
And
Jose.
Nathan.
What
Also,
up, Nathan?
also from Santa
I love
Cruz.
Curtis.
Very cool.
Oh yeah,
You know
shout out
Curtis?
Nathan.
Yeah, Angry Caveman is sick.
Curtis
We're trying to
gives
have
really
them
good
play
hugs.
in with us on the tour.
Yeah,
In Santa
hopefully we'll
Cruz.
do a couple dates with them.
Nice.
That's
I
awesome.
love
man.
you.
You can see, yeah, he plays down in like, what's that bar I see you guys? Oh, thank you, buddy. But
Caravan.
it's down
Caravan Lounge?
Caravan.
Yeah,
Yep,
that's
I've
where
been
we
there a
played
few
last
times.
time. That place
Yeah,
was sick.
that place was
Yeah,
sick.
We
it's
wanted
fun,
to play
man.
there again, but we haven't been able to make that happen. So we trust in you, Curtis. We know you'll make it happen.
Curtis.
But where were we in our? Oh, we were talking about Beekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they, Ali, the singer of Beekeeper, and Dylan. You guys, maybe you could talk about that a little bit. I mean, you guys went to school together and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, just so we're high school friends. Always loved Slayer and thrash and stuff. So that band it's been around 10 years now, and when I think it was like
What style was Beekeeper? What style is Beekeeper?
Death thrash.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
like
okay.
very influenced by like Sepultura, Beneath the Remains,
Fuck yeah.
but then also like
Death.
there's some death in there. There's some atheist in there.
Slayer,
There's some Slayer.
Morbid Angel, the classics.
Scary.
Camel Corpse.
Yeah, I heard you guys got
Deicide.
there's kind of a buzz for that band. I heard a little bit.
Very nice, sir. Very
That's
nice.
fine.
You're in good company.
So,
Yeah, we have some cool music videos. We have a lot of cool merch. I think maybe next year we'll head back on the road. It's like some COVID made some sort of life things happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, and also luckily when you have a million projects, it's like, okay, you shift your focus onto something else. Obviously, Atheist takes a lot of my time, so that's why we're just happy to give Fermentor its it's
Moment in
it's-
the sun.
Yes, I didn't want to say that because that made it sound short, but it's gonna it's it's
15
era in the
seconds of
sun.
fame.
Yeah.
That's cool.
glimpse.
That's very cool. So how do you guys like, does PlayStation let you tour? Or they let you go like, all right.
I mean, I'm going out for a week this time, so it's not that
Okay.
long. But I'm a full-time employee here, so I get PTO and shit like that. And so
It's blue
if I need to,
collar
I can use
touring.
that. Blue collar touring, absolutely. And I mean, that's very much the case here. I mean, we haven't toured since 2019, and all those
Yeah.
tours we booked ourselves, and that's just all we know. So it's like any tour we do, hopefully moving forward it becomes easier, or maybe we end up with a booker or something like that. But we're used to just hitting people up and making new friends and trying to put the puzzle pieces together, and it's really frustrating, especially at first, very daunting,
Mhm.
and it's everything's sort of like up in the air, and it kind of could go anyways, so you're just seeing
A
what things
cancellation
come
or-
together and
Yeah.
and just try and be fluid, but it's part of the fun. I mean, I'm pretty happy actually with how it's turned out. If things all go well, then this should be a nice dense tour of full shows. Fun
Have we
shows.
talked about what the Fermentor sound is? Like what style
No.
you guys are, what you're going for?
No.
I haven't even
I'd
gotten
love
there.
to.
Let's
talked
do
about
it.
I never got there,
I mean,
dude.
Fermentor's gone through like an arc, I'd say, musically. It started off very also death thrash, I'd say, not too far from
Yeah,
a
it
beekeeper,
started
I'd
off
say.
not instrumental. We had
Yeah,
like singing,
I sing on it.
but it's now turned into just. I mean, it's just it's inspired by a lot of jamming. So there's a lot of just sort of, like blasting weird techie stuff, but then we'll sort of dwell on an idea, and we call it like meditative almost, where it's like we play a part like 8 times and then we like bring in a little change, and then but it's like in these sort of musical or metal like formulas, you could say.
Yeah, I don't know if I would call them formulas, but it's very much metal and metal adjacent. I mean, I listen to a lot of non-metal music. We both do listen to a lot of non-metal music, so it's very much bringing other influences to metal, and kind of, because that's our, the vocabulary we probably know the best. And so when we make music, it sort of inevitably comes out in these ways more often than not. But we have a bunch of new music coming out soon, and that's going to be much more diverse.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I mean, it sort of went from death thrash to full death metal, I'd say, but instrumental at that point. We kind of were just like, okay, we don't have a singer, we don't need one. Like, we like exploring what we can just create together. And really enjoyed our jamming process and creating riffs and creating parts.
Is it possible to like drop in like 15 seconds of our music video?
Yeah, you could drop in 15 seconds of Anthony Trapani.
Oh,
Whoa.
hell yeah! Special guest.
Dudes.
Welcome to
Did
the
you see
show.
All right.
Did you see what?
You
Yeah,
hear
did
me?
you see what I did in the beginning? Did you see what I did in the beginning?
No.
I
that'll be a
had a
special
bald.
one.
I just stopped driving, so I was like, I
I had a
was,
bald cap on. I had a bald cap on, and I was trying to.
Shut
do
up.
Who the fuck is this?
Why'd you put a hat on then, dude? Why don't you keep rocking the bald?
No,
Good
because I
command.
couldn't keep doing it because I felt like I had to be
Andy
like, hey,
Kaufman
what?
over
Why
here.
don't I had to like pretend like I was doing your voice and stuff?
And
I was
another
like, that's a little
Thursday.
weird.
Here we are in your living room, bedroom, wherever the fuck you are watching this. We are with you now.
It's the real deal, dude. You got the
That's
real
awesome,
deal.
guys.
Are you in Hawaii
Well,
right now?
No, I'm leaving tomorrow morning.
Oh, you couldn't make it? Fucking piece of
What
shit.
the fuck is going
No,
on?
I had to drive. Dude. I literally am like, I've been parked for a few minutes, and I was like, you know what? I need to pop in on these guys real quick.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did.
So Wally and Dylan, right? Is that the
Yeah,
names?
yeah.
Yes.
What up, dudes? Hey,
What up?
nice to meet you, brothers.
Likewise.
I've been lurking on you guys for a little bit. I've been friends with you guys on Facebook and always watching you guys post your stuff, and always been down, dude. So I'm glad you guys are on the show.
Thanks, man.
Thanks
Stoked
for
to be
having
here.
us.
It's been fun.
Actually, you might have showed up at the right time. I remember Dylan was just saying, is there stuff you want us to, is it new stuff to play or is there
No, I think he was just asking to play a snippet of music, but he
Yeah,
was
just-
wondering if it was possible. It doesn't have to happen.
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, we have
Well,
a new music
we'll
video
have
out.
Joseph
It's
do it.
got 9.9 thousand views, so we could bump it to 10.
9.9?
Right.
I was
dropping the metrics.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it 9.96 or something? Like, like
Literally, we need like
granular.
30 more views or something. But
Yeah, if we made it tonight, that'd be pretty historic.
Hey guys,
on this
everybody
podcast,
in
we
the
got to
chat,
10K.
watch this live, dude. You guys gotta go watch the
That's right.
video,
Yeah,
get those views up.
Oh no, we're gonna put it
Yeah.
on here in a little while.
So
But
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, we were talking a little bit about what Fermentor sounds like, kind of what our approach is to writing music, sort of thematically, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's very
schizophrenic. Like we change parts very quickly.
I was going to say instinctive. Like it's very instinctive. You know, we aren't really writing parts and bringing it to the table.
it does
We're
feel like,
sitting
when
down
I
and
was listening to you
let's make
guys,
something.
I was listening to you guys earlier, and I felt like you guys just were jamming as like friends and like coming together with stuff. It just felt I felt the vibe. I felt that
That's
vibe.
100% what it is.
I was
Cool.
stressful little time in the office and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna throw them on because I need to like listen to it and get like a good idea of it.
Yeah.
And it felt like a fun jam session, but like kind of like dialed into like, all right, that works, this works, blah blah, and like you guys putting it all together. It's kind of
Yeah, that's
it's
it. We're
kinda-
like this works, put it in there.
Yeah.
it's like that's kind of how it felt, like organic though, right?
Yes, yeah, for sure. That's very much our approach to writing.
A
All right,
cool
let's see
name
this.
for a song or an album would be Schizophrenic Instinct or
That's not bad.
Schizophrenically
I'll put that on my
Instinctive.
list.
Ooh, geez.
Schizo
All right.
friend stink.
You gotta
Uh,
go full screen when you click play.
this counts for 5 views actually, because there's 5 people watching. So
Yep.
YouTube,
What up?
take note. Okay, just someone say something if it doesn't sound good.
Go full
Nice, there
screen.
we go.
We're good. We're good, I think. You know, it's got some compression on there. We're good.
Oh, we can't talk, or else Wayne cuts it down.
Uh-oh.
Weaker than mine.
It never works, guys.
Right on. Well, you get the idea.
Yeah, you get the
yeah,
gist.
yeah. We're
You
just,
know, we're just,
audio,
uh,
letting people get a sense.
Shreddy, rhythmic.
Yeah. Groovy.
I actually
That was
I
sick.
watched that video yesterday. When did you guys
Yeah,
put it
me
out?
too.
That was in December. It came out, I
the
think, the
album,
same
yeah,
day,
yeah.
or the week before our album Mind Melt came out.
It just popped up in my feed though, like yesterday or the day before, and I enjoyed it. Is that Sensory Overlord? Is that
Yeah,
the
that's
You got
the
it.
one. That's the one.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
dude.
that's on our new album Mind Meld. It's on all the streamers, or you can buy a CD from us on our Bandcamp if you want.
I like the
Actually,
fact that
I used that
go ahead,
song
go
for
ahead.
my story when I was promoting the episode because I enjoy that song very much.
Thanks, man.
Thank
I'm stoked
you.
you like it.
It's
Yeah,
super
that was
sick.
a cool snippet. I'm always like I get anxious when there's no bass player in a band, and immediately I'm like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. There's enough going on.
Yeah,
or
well,
maybe I want your take on that like kind of thing. Like,
I get
Well,
I get
it-
anxious when there's no Anthony on a podcast.
Well, I'm here right now.
it definitely
Joe,
pushes
Joe
us to
Cap.
be, more interesting. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, there's not any counterpoint with the, there's not going to be any multiple like melodic lines. Like, it's like there's drums and there's guitar and both parts got to be cool. It just makes us be really, really discerning with the parts. And it's like every moment is scrutinized.
Yeah, there's also there's no hiding. You know what I mean? Like there's no one to glue you to anything else. So if you fuck up, it's clear. If you do something cool, it's clear. Very sensitive to wanting the music to retain the listener's attention. So we're always kind of approaching it from that sort of objective, I guess, that it should be catchy and fun, but also gnarly and interesting and musical. But yeah, it's difficult to create any sense of harmony unless it's in a chording that I'm doing. So in a lot of ways, we say Dylan's snare and like his toms are melodic instruments in their own right. In Fermentor, but also I do play through multiple amplifiers, and one of them being a bass amplifier, and I work tirelessly on my tone to try and make it sound thick and gnarly, and not feel like if you saw a 5-piece band and then you saw us that there would be a dip in intensity of any kind.
Also,
should go up. The intensity should go up.
The album the Mind Melt album, that's one guitar take. It's not double tracked.
Oh, awesome.
Also, it was recorded live. So we literally went to Singing Serpent Studios and we set up Wally's entire rig, all the tone, set up my drums. It was like 38 inputs or something like that.
Damn.
And we
That's
literally
insane.
just record because we're two a piece and we're so close and we're so together and we're so feeding off each other. It was really important to be able to capture that in the recording. I didn't want to like lay down the drums and then re-go, with the scratch guitar and then it's like I wanted like the energy in there, like it should just sound good already. And so that's why this is definitely the best sounding recording we've ever done.
Yeah, it was a challenge to make it sound again, just to feel like it can be competitive against other records without having two guitar takes. But there are a fuck ton of microphones on the amplifiers, and there were 3 amplifiers played simultaneously on that recording.
What
so we worked really
amplifiers?
hard.
Are they?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna ask, are they isolated in the rooms, separate rooms, or?
So the bass cab was isolated, and the 2 guitar stacks were, baffled in a ISO booth. But you're asking what amplifier I use?
Oh yeah,
Idiot.
this is my shit.
Yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
get the nerd talk.
I play a PV Triple X. Shout out
wow.
to Suffocation, who
Nice,
used
have one
that
of
for
those.
many years.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've had that since high school, pretty much.
Mhm.
I've never changed amplifiers, guitar
Solid
amplifiers.
state, right? That was a solid state.
No, that's an
version of
all
the-
tube,
Oh, that's-
120
okay.
watt,
That's
three-channel.
XXL. I'm thinking of the
beast.
XXL. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
And yeah, I use that. And I have a Gens-Benz 212
Nice.
cab on top of a 212 orange cab.
Whoa,
And then I
cool.
also run a bass head PV Marks. No. It's a PV bass 6, something like that, into an 8x10 Ampeg cab. And on the record, then I also ran it to another Triple X into a Marshall JCM 4x12 cab.
So the Triple X has like its all body and shine and shimmer. It was like
Yes,
sexual
it's
kind
very
of like.
dumb. Yes, but it sounds great. It's an unfortunate
Terrence-
branding
yeah.
choice. Yeah,
You're right. Terrence had one, and I remember him showing it
Yes.
to me. Like, and then he went to the, like the 65 or the 5203 or something. It was like a random 5110 or 50. Jesus, what's it? 50. I can't even. All these numbers, I'm like fucked up on it.
5150?
5150. Jesus, no, it's
Yeah.
5153. Or no, but it wasn't.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't the 5153 that Fender created, but it was 5153. No, it
Yeah.
was
That
like
you
some-
got it. 5153
Yeah.
is fine.
Yeah. Because now
Yeah.
it's the Fender one. But
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
that had that also that Satriani one, that
Yeah, the
Satriani
JSX.
JSX people were
Yes.
using a lot too around that time.
Indeed.
That's
Well, that
cool.
was the sort of next gen Triple X. It's essentially a Triple X. It has a noise gate and a boost, I think, built in. And maybe like a slightly different like crunch channel or something like that. But
It's like the
yeah,
Misha Mansour PV Invector versus like a 5153 or something.
Right.
Would they have like
Right.
all the little bells in there? Like, oh, we have a noise gate. No, yeah, that's cool.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Can you describe so those things I haven't seen forever? Is that what tone does it remind you of?
I don't know. I hopefully it doesn't remind me of anyone's tone. I'd hope to have something kind of more unique. But
Nice.
I mean, I love Trey Azektoth's guitar sound and Terrence. I loved the dudes from Cephalic Carnage. I am still huge into those guys, and
Me too.
that really blew my mind how like bizarre and extreme metal could be. And I really loved the low end that David Taro was bringing to those records in those early days, and that's a lot of what when I was. Are you trying to talk, Anthony? Because I think you're muted. We'll get him.
No, put the intro on.
Sorry.
All right, there he is.
I hit the wrong button.
You're good.
What's your Cephalic album? What's your number one?
I think it's Exploiting Dysfunction, but Lucid
go,
Interval
buddy.
Nice.
also. Exploiting Dysfunction, that song Hybrid that kicks off the album, I just listened to the other day. I was like, there's just nothing that makes me feel this hyped.
Have you heard the demo version of that song?
I don't know. Is that on another record or was it just like a
No, they did a tape. They were demo tape, and they did that song. But the intro that you hear on Exploiting is from the tape version. And
that makes so much sense. So the that's why it's all lo-fi and shit. That's sick.
Oh, that's sick.
I
I
didn't know that
either.
until I came across the tape on Discogs.
That's
for a
awesome.
decent price, and I got it. And I popped it in, and I was like, "Holy shit, dude! It's the intro."
Yeah.
But then
That's so
then it
rad.
hits you with the sick mix.
When Lenzik just goes illicit into the mic,
Listen,
my fucking hair on the back of my neck
sick.
stands up, man. That's
me
just-
too. I
And-
just
and-
did just talking about it.
I love
And
it.
I always got to praise the. There's so many things about that album that I got to praise, but the one thing that stood out to me so much is they said, "Fuck the thanks list. We'll just make a song that's a thanks list." There's a song, I forget what track it is on the album, but all the lyrics are just them naming their favorite bands.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, those dudes are such goofballs, but their music was so wild, and it just sounded so good. And there was nothing really that I knew that sounded like them. And I remember when Lucid Interval when I first was exposed to that, and that insane high pitched squealing noise.
Yeah, the first
Beginning,
track.
it was just like the craziest thing I had ever heard, and was so impactful. And
We got to
Just
tour with them a
interesting
couple
and unique.
times, and they would start off with that, and I'd be like, I
Yeah.
watched every single fucking set because that's like my
Yeah.
childhood, and actually
Yeah.
it's funny. It kind of brings it back to because they were friends with my brother and like my brother's band and stuff. But
Mhm.
actually, the drummer ended up filling in for them for a while. But
Mhm.
they would come to their band practices, and they were trying to do, and you guys were kind of alluding to this earlier, but was an improv death metal band is what they wanted to try to do, like a crazy improv death metal with two people, a guitar player and a drummer. They were trying to do. Like it's called Infinity. It was back in New Mexico in like 95, 96, something like that.
Wow.
But they were like, and all the guys would just show up from Andreas, he would show
Andreas,
up, or all the cephalic guys would show up and just check it out and be like, "Damn, what the fuck are you guys doing?" And then they just, and then they just kind of would just go away. The band would just disband. They would do something else, and
I can't look at you seriously at all right now.
I know. I'm not even looking at the screen.
Where
dude.
did you go? Did you go on like spirithalloween.com and find a 10-pack of those?
I think it was Amazon.
Amazon, dude.
No, there's an
Amazon.
early Halloween sale going on right now, Joel. Like,
no, I literally was at Casey sent me a thing. He's like, "All right, Joel, what you got? What do you got planned for tomorrow? Because you're gonna be the Anthony." And I was like sitting there like on my lunch break in my car, and I was like, "Amazon bald cap." And that's all. We can get that to you by 11 a.m. tomorrow. And I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
that works."
That's what's up. Hell yeah, dude.
So Bezos,
it wasn't
I
on
guess,
Prime.
hooked
Joel
up.
had to pay extra.
It was. I got primed, dude. I got the prime.
It's funny that you mentioned death metal improv.
Yeah.
Because actually, Fermentor has 2 like 17-track improv albums that we're going to release after this tour.
Fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Really
Yeah.
sick. Nice.
Yeah. We recorded at the same time. We recorded Mind Meld.
'Cause everything was set up for live.
And so we just, in between recording the songs we had written, we just created shit off the top of our heads. And then from the
We jammed for like 5 days straight. We wrote like hours and hours of material that we combed through.
Yeah. We have a documentary actually that's going to come out about it that documents each day of the recording process and sort of the, lunacy that descends over the 5 days. And you can hear the music get weirder and weirder and more extreme over the days.
Also, for the last few years, we've been jamming with Wally using his looping pedal. So it's sort of like a new dawn for terrible dawn,
maybe.
For that's one of our songs that hasn't come out yet. So no one would know. No one would get it.
You don't have to explain.
Well, everyone's gonna be going, "What the fuck are they talking about?"
And then they'll never know. Or maybe they will.
I shook my head at Don. I was like, "Yeah, Don, totally."
Yeah, Don.
Terrible Don.
Sure.
But so with the looping and the improvising, it really it's like made us create these songs with these weird textures that we've never come up with before, and literally it's the most like unique,
we're really stoked on it.
We've ever come up with, and we love it.
Yeah.
Do you guys throw in the mix of, you guys are completely improvising, like doing stuff. Do you guys throw like marijuana or beer or acid or some sort of a thing in there just to fucking throw a wrench in your spokes and see what comes out of that?
I mean, I feel like not having marijuana would be a wrench in the spokes.
Yeah. Marijuana, because that's when I was younger. I had a drummer friend that was my buddy in high school, and I'd just go over to his house and he'd just play drums randomly, and I would just jam over it, and we'd come up with like so many cool ideas, and that was just like I would never have thought of, just
that was something we realized with these two is like, if often we would jam to create parts, and then we would develop that and arrange it and orchestrate the whole song, etc. And now it's like we would jam these parts, and it's like we would ruin this if we tried to mold it or sculpt it in any ways. Like, what was cool about this part is the imperfections or the weirdnesses, because we weren't, we were sort of tangentially on the same plane.
Well, also whenever we jam, because we've been playing together for like 15, 16 years, whenever we would jam, in the back of my mind, it would always be, okay, but remember this, so that we can come back and then we can turn this into a song. You have to remember this.
Like mining.
But so that's why with the studio, we were thinking, okay, you know what, we're just going to record it. So we can just come up with the craziest, weirdest shit, and we don't have to worry about ever trying to recreate it, because that's not what this is. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna record it and we're gonna listen back. And what was amazing was, because we were recording for days and days and days, tracks after tracks, and a lot of them, didn't make the cut because they were like,
Yeah,
this is
there's
garbage.
lots.
This is
A lot.
unlistenable.
17 hours.
But there's like 40 songs that we're like listening back to this, and I'm listening to myself on an album quality, and I don't remember this. I don't know what the song is. I don't know what I don't know what's going, but it like sounds good, and I'm like, oh, good move, me, or like, oh, nice riff.
Yeah.
I remember that riff like that. You know what I mean?
It's surprising.
And having the recording set up and all that stuff is a big thing, dude. Because there's so many. I mean, you can if you have an idea. There's so many times in my life where I've been, in the middle of whatever, and an idea will pop up about, lyrics or something, whatever, and it'll be so sick to me in the moment, and I'll be like, dude, I can't ever forget this, dude. Don't worry, you don't have to write it down. And then
gone.
it's
gone.
Then it's gone forever.
Evaporates.
And the feeling that you feel once you've lost that idea, even if it's not, it could have not been a good idea, but in the moment, it felt like something that you wanted, and you didn't keep it, and it just like this loss that you get. You're like, oh, dude, I'll never see that again, or
And you'll maybe try to recreate it, and it's going to be like kind of similar, but it's always going to bug you. It's like you're going to be like, that's not how cool it was when it started. It's going to be like,
I try always to just jot it down,
write it down. Always write it down.
Play it and record it as soon as you can. All that stuff, dude.
Dylan's big on singing riffs into his phone. I've gotten a lot of riffs from him.
Speaking death metal, we get to a speaking death metal conversation. There's Junts and there's Zints and there's. Because what was it? Nile, Dallas from Nile was Zun or Zin Zun Zun Zun, and we were
Riffanese, dude.
Riffanese.
Yeah, we talk in terms of diggas around here.
Oh, diggas.
Yeah, so it's like digga.
What about your chunky parts? Your chunky parts though. What are those?
Juns.
Well, what's funny is on Mindmeld we have a song called Ring King.
Yeah,
and that's literally from
Ring King. Yeah.
Like Ring King.
Yeah. That's the riff at the beginning of that song. Yeah. No, is it?
I love it.
That's Pitiful Rope.
But we think about it like Ring King, like
Jun. So it's Ring King. No,
I mean anything's a Ring King.
Well, it's that song.
If you believe hard enough.
Put your mind to it.
That song's Ring King.
You guys are digga Juns. You guys are digga Juns.
Definitely Jun.
Yeah,
Jun.
Yeah, that's our dialect. Diggas.
Any other like da.
Oh, also a big one is ra.
Oh yeah, a lot of ra. Yeah. Big ra. Oh, actually, this is a great question. So, how would you spell ra? Because we've gone back and forth about this, and we really struggle trying to decide how you spell ra.
There's almost a D in front of it.
I think of it as like a TH.
TH. I think of the TH.
Like
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll go with that.
Actually, maybe it's a TR. TH. Dra.
Oh,
like a roll. The roll.
There's a.
I feel like there's an H at the top. There's a.
I feel like there's a glottal stop right at the beginning.
And this is how bands have to do it. It's like when you're doing stuff that you guys are doing, like in person, having to like write stuff of like. You have to go like, how about digga dun dun ra? You have to do all those noises. Or else, like,
it's like we argue about everything. Why wouldn't we argue about spelling the onomatopoeias of the metal?
Onomatopoeias of death metal, dude, or just metal in general. Onomatopoeias of metal.
That's a coffee table book idea. Just the onomatopoeias of death metal. You should really invest a lot of time and effort into that.
It'll be a 3-page coffee book, dude.
It'll be like really thick, leather bound, and you know what I mean, a weighty book.
It's got a coaster built into it.
Nice.
I'm gonna shout out coprocephalic mutation.
Remember I tried to spell that live?
Yeah.
Coprocephalic. Corpora.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, did you guys? Obviously, you guys.
We talked about
the Diego thing in the beginning.
We plugged it hard. Yeah.
Nice.
Shout out to
the
Japanese
hit there. Yeah.
For helping out. We shouted out Bryce for the name that was attached to it.
That was me through Bryce's thing, but yeah, we donated.
Whoa!
The Trapani family donated.
Just take an anonymous donation.
How sick would that be if my wife just donated without even talking to me? Though?
That'd be hard as fuck.
You know, damn, for Disgorge, your wife's just like, yeah, Disgorge, fuck yeah, the heart
yeah.
broken.
I'll find out.
They're
Yeah.
back on their feet, you know.
Yeah. Speaking of, someone else shouted out that Diego is a great improver, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
is.
I saw
He
that.
is 100%. Like seeing
Yeah.
him improv with like a drummer. I've seen
With
videos
Casey.
of just with Casey. I've seen it with Joseph. You guys just jamming, and he's just like he just has that like feel of the drums. He's watching the drums. He's listening to the beat. He knows what he could put in. He knows if he. I've seen him even just jam for a long enough time where he like tried to bring something back or something.
Mm.
And
The sickest thing was the first time I ever saw the professor on video was Casey on drums, Diego on guitar, and Joseph on saxophone, dude. And I was just like, who's this kid shredding saxophone over fucking Diego and Casey and making it sicker?
That was pandemic was weird times. Yeah, we got weird. Brought my sax down.
Joseph, did you say you're in a band with Diego now?
I'm into Violently Vomit, which is
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know
it's-
he was in that. But...
Yep.
it's
It's
basically Disgorge now.
what I Am Morbid is to Morbid Angel.
Right,
to Violently
right,
Vomit is to Disgorge.
Right,
Oh,
right.
that's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Fuck.
Dude,
Dude,
he's tearing it up.
improv,
Every time I
death
look at
metal.
go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh yeah, just that's another thing with the two piece that like as soon as you add a second string player, it like improv goes out the window essentially. It like makes
Right.
it basically impossible. So
Yeah.
that's like I'm glad that you're like making the most of the two piece situation. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like the connection that we have is so sort of historic now, and we're so like it is. I mean,
Yeah.
we've been playing for so long and been friends
Yeah.
for so long that
Per definition.
We know what the other
Yeah.
one's gonna do. Like I can
Yeah.
tell if he's trying to like bring it home, or
Mhm.
I can tell if it's like a like we can just like
you can tell if I don't know what I'm doing or if I'm
Yeah.
just like way off.
Yeah, let's
base.
talk about that. Actually, would actually
Yeah.
want to get into that because we talk about the successful times where improv
Sure.
creates something that you want to show people. But can we talk about the times where you guys aren't clicking in a moment, or what
yeah.
goes on in that moment? Are you like does
Scream at him.
Dylan look at you just like
viciously.
Dylan's like, dude, what are you? Dylan give you a look or something, or
I
do
give
you
him looks
give
more.
Dylan a
And-
look?
And
Yeah,
side
yeah.
note, makes sense that your album's called Mind Meld, you said?
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. That's exactly what we're talking about here and why we named it that.
mhm,
Yep.
good catch.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that look like though? Because obviously you're capturing the good times, and there's obviously probably would you say there's probably 50-50? Is it 50-50 good times to bad times, or not bad times?
No,
but
no,
just
it's
stuff that
it's
doesn't meld?
90-10. It's like
Oh,
99% good times. It's like
Damn.
and
Okay, that's good.
even the like more rougher times or whatever, and it's like that shit happens.
Is it
It's like a
funny? Is it
disagreement
funny?
about something. It
Do you guys
eventually is
laugh?
funny.
Yeah.
Do you guys laugh when it doesn't
Maybe
work? You
not
guys
at
are
the
trying.
moment. Sometimes.
Oh man, I don't laugh more ever than when I listen
Yeah, exactly.
to our jams, because I
Yeah.
can like hear when he like kind of hits a brick wall and then like has to, you know what I mean, or I can like know when he like hits a note that he didn't mean
Yeah.
to,
Or
or
I
like
just throw my hand
or like if
somewhere,
he
you
hits
know?
a note and then like realizes it's wrong and I hear him like bend it up
Mm.
so it like works, but like that moment, like,
Yeah,
I like
exactly.
know what's happening and I'll
Yeah.
just die laughing.
You'll
'cause-
you'll hear a bunch of it on the improvised albums because we leave also. That's the other thing too. Is like there are imperfections on there, and there's gonna
oh
be
yeah,
stuff that is
and I love it. There's
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
some
That's
fuck
perfect.
ups,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they're- I'm
That's,
like,
those are perfections
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that
Keep 'em
kind
in.
of.
We
So-
did some cleanup to make it listenable, so it's not just like a disaster
Yeah.
album. But
I have an idea or just a thought about that because I think it's so cool that the whole improv thing in general, but like, because of course in jazz and of course on diffusion and all that, but just going back to just the original idea of jazz, or just like, and also just like taking these different musicians and putting them in different combos and different bands all the time,
yeah,
and they all play each other's songs in his heads. It'd be interesting, like.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, we're gonna tonight. You go to the show. It's gonna be, fucking, I don't know, John Longstreth on drums, and then it's gonna be, fucking Terrence on guitar, and then Eric
Mhm.
Rutan on guitar, and they're just gonna
Mhm.
like make whatever, and they're gonna like play. Oh, they'll like play Pearson with them, but it's gonna be like their own little version, and then they're gonna like do their own solos
Yeah.
over it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
that would be a very interesting show to see what the hell.
It's like Quimba
happens,
at
you know?
Quimba.
Yeah.
What was
Yeah,
that?
small
What
jazz.
was that recent video? That recent Alex Bent video
Oh yeah,
like
with Derek Roddy on
yeah.
guitar and Alex
Sick.
Bent on drums.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
And just watching them like come up with something kind of in the same format you guys are talking about. Just he
Yeah.
has a riff and Alex is like getting on it and jamming on it, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's two like legendary drummers that are just like one's on guitar though, so they understand
And
the
they had
instrument.
just met.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
That's
part.
wild. I was
Pretty
gonna
sure
say
that Alex
the
said a little bit
Oh,
after
really?
they just
They
met,
just-
they just started jamming.
yeah.
It's
I was going to
crazy.
say it must be pretty hard if you had. I like your idea, but if you do have musicians who have never really played together before, there's something cool about that, but there's also something super risky about trying to just make that work without ever having like you've
How
known
about
their
this?
material.
No.
from the
How about this?
recording.
Like in a closed room though, in a closed room, not being like filmed or anything, just like
Uh-huh.
two energies colliding and not like having to be worried about people watching it or something. Just
Uh-huh.
let them like be free
Yeah,
in a
sure.
room.
But I
Like
think
that
The beauty of the jam, bro.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying,
It's
man.
fucking jam.
I think we're
Yeah.
so
I would
conditioned to like death metal is this polished practice thing that we you
Right.
know recreate live. It's like classical or
yeah,
whatever.
execution.
But it's like, why not jazz it up a bit? Why not get just like let's get Luke LeMay up there and jam with fucking just like creating these combos of different I don't know, just be really interesting.
Well,
I
they
would love
often
to see
say
that.
like there's
Dude, that'd be
a
awesome.
big key to like successful improvisation is actually preparation and like organization. Like we improvise and we're jamming together, but within that is actually a lot of rehearsal and like we've played together a lot, we've messed with the loops, we've created loops and then having to like lock onto that loop and then make sure I don't get off of it. So it's like
there's pre-production work to,
it's like
improv.
even though it's like technically like an improv album, there's a lot of preparation that goes into creating a scenario where it's going to be successful.
That
You
makes
try and
sense.
give yourself your best chances.
But do you think like along the same lines of what Casey's talking about is two people with different mindsets that aren't connected in the 15 years that you guys have been, of just like throwing them in a room and just being I've seen it actually.
100%.
To be honest, actually, I'll even throw Casey under the bus in the best way possible. I don't know, was it Casey? No, it wasn't Casey. Sorry, it was Flo from Cryptopsy and Matt Sotelo, and we were in Amsterdam or something, and we were at a random person's house, and they just started freestyling, and it was like better than most death metal that I've ever heard in my life. And everyone's just sitting around, just like had the whole like Behemoth crew, the road crew was sitting there, just going like, Jesus! Like everyone was just like this, because Matt has a really cool improv style, and Flo was they were just immediately bonded and just like jamming.
Yeah,
together.
that's awesome.
And I was like,
No, you're right. And to Sick Drummer's point, he is saying there's no risk. It's just a moment in time. And you're right. You're right. There really is no risk. It's sort of just like, I know for myself, it's like I was skeptical about us going in to record improvisations, or that anyone would give a fuck about what we created. And so, I was very insistent about how we would approach the recording process for that reason, to ensure that everything did sound great, because I wouldn't want the improvisations to sound any worse than our written material sonically. And so similarly, if I was going to be thrown out on stage with musicians I had never played with, musicians if I was thrown on stage with Luke LeMay, I would shit myself. You know what I mean? It's like try and come up with something that I think Luke
that's
LeMay
your art,
liked.
dude.
You know what I mean? If we were in a room and discussed, that's one thing, but like on stage,
G.G. Allen.
I think would be sick. Yeah, I would just be like G.G. Allen all of a sudden. No, I would give anything to see Luke on stage with other, musicians, or even just themselves improvising on stage. I'll give anything for that.
But
well, Dylan makes a good point as far as like like when you're comfortable with someone, like when you have that comfort level, like
Safety.
if you have like what Casey was saying, like all of a sudden you've never met fucking John Longstreth and you're just a guitar player, and it's like, all right, just jam with John Longstreth, the guy that you've watched play forever. Like you're gonna have like these level of nerves. There's not gonna be this like cohesiveness as like two humans vibing together. You're gonna like impress him or something. He's it's kind of like uncomfortable aspect, and the fact that two friends getting together and jamming is like there's nothing more comfortable than that. That's like the funnest thing you could do.
It's one of my favorite things to do.
There's different levels of improv too. I mean, like we're talking about the extreme ends, but it's like there's also like the Jimi Hendrix kind of people play a song, but then the solos are all different live or whatever, or even Randy Rhoads on that live, tribute.
Zappa was like that.
Solos
too.
are totally different. And
Zappa's a great example.
better. Yeah, Zappa, of
Yeah.
course. You know.
Or yeah, I'm very into like post rock and stuff. I don't know guys if you guys know Don Caballero.
Oh,
fuck
fuck
yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
We've
yeah.
talked
Come
about him a
on,
bunch.
dude.
Yeah. What burns never returns,
My
brother.
people.
Yeah,
But yeah, like
Yeah.
I like to say it's like really my goal would be to make if Don Caballero was a death metal band, I would love to make that, whatever that
Oh,
is.
That'd be
cool.
sick.
Uh,
man.
so I-
Yeah, that would
I
be way
deeply
sick,
love
dude.
that band, and what they do is so musical and cool and
That's like-
interesting. And
I'd be like Canvas Solaris or something. I don't know, maybe not, but yeah. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
but Don Cab got a shout out. David Siskin, Warbreaker. He's the one who turned me on to them, and
oh, nice.
I'm rocking a Don Cab shirt that I got at one of their shows in the Synesthesia band photo, whatever.
Yeah, we
I never
listen
got
I
to
love
see
that
them. I
band.
wish I had. They're so good. I listen to them so
But then
often.
Dylan's like, dude, I don't want to fucking have my snare drum on the fucking on the ground though, because that guy's snare drum's so low. I remember
Really?
watching him live, and I was like, he's like,
Yeah.
he was going
Yeah.
like, it's like smacking it on the ground.
But also that drum sounds huge,
It's trippy because he's
on
so
those
good.
Don Cab records. The drums sound awesome.
Yeah.
Because he has all the space to
Yeah. It's got more momentum.
rather than
Yeah.
It's hypnotic too when you watch them live, dude. Those
Agreed.
like where they just continuously build on a riff, and
Mhm.
you watch it just like unfold in front of you as they're playing it, dude.
Yeah.
It's actually really sick. If
Well,
Don Cab ever comes back out, I'd love to see him again.
I would
If
love
you-
that.
100%.
oh yeah, dude, they're insane. But if you think about it just real quick, it's really about composition if you really get down to it, because like it's like there's composition that's like planned, and then there's composition in real time, which is basically improvisation, and you can call it a good composition or not. And that's, it's like, oh, it's planned better, or they've played together before, or they haven't, or like this is a good song structure, or like we have an idea or like a template or whatever goal. But like even if you're writing, like you're gonna come up with cool parts, and you're gonna keep that, and then you're gonna go, oh wait, this part sucks, then you're gonna keep it, and it's the same thing, but it's just in real time.
Yeah.
You know?
That vetting process doesn't exist. So it's sort of
Exactly.
like, first
Live,
thought
yeah.
is the thought, and whether or not it's the best, you find out at the end.
That's very cool that
Yeah.
your Bark Forums has actually brought up a really cool thing that I've been watching like constantly whenever they do it, is they just have a musician that has never heard the song, and then they play only the instruments, and they let them listen to it and figure it out, and then they get to put their own drums over it, just like.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of bands like it was Mike Portnoy doing Tool, like was one of the last ones they did, and he was doing like Pneuma by Tool, and he'd never really, he says, I've heard this song before, and he was like trying to map it all out. He's like, God damn, he's all, who the fuck? he was like, he was so mad. And I sent it to
was
my
really
dad.
good.
My dad, yeah, he was like, "Dude, this of course this is fucking Danny Carey." God, he was like cussing the whole time, and it was so
Yeah.
funny. But he actually did a pretty decent version. And there's been people that will hear a song and be like, "I've never heard this song before," and then it's only the instruments and vocals, and then they have
The
to,
Dennis Chambers
throw
one
some-
though is more fun.
Oh,
I think.
yeah.
And because
That
it's
is-
like
that's
not
the
as
original.
hard of a
That's
song.
the original one.
Yeah, and it's like more of just like him doing his thing over it, or like Portnoy's trying to like actually learn and do it. He
Yeah,
does
that's
his
true.
own
That's
thing.
true.
But the Dennis Chambers one's more like kind of, I guess, light.
He's all, I wouldn't listen to this now.
Just kind of
He gets all mad in the middle, but he's all,
But
I
he
wouldn't.
rocks.
He's all, this is cool, but I wouldn't listen to this now. This is
Oh,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
weird,
that
dude.
sounds cool.
yeah. Are you like
I
when you
love
hear
Dennis Chambers.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
Dennis is cool.
incredible. Yeah.
Niacin. You guys know niacin?
Oh, the chemical?
I don't know niacin. What is niacin?
Bananas,
it's a
bananas,
three-piece
bananas.
with,
is nice.
Billy
Oh,
Sheehan.
It's in
It's
bananas.
just bass, keys, and drums. And it's sick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dylan's very into Billy Cobham, and
Oh, fuck, yeah,
we
dude.
use
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those,
Mojave
yeah,
New
yeah.
Orchestra, dude.
Yeah, Mahavishnu,
Yeah,
and
but his
and
albums,
oh, yeah.
though, man.
those recordings are very, I think, important to Dylan and as for me. And it's like for me, it's like I come from the Don Cab sort of perspective, but it's like that more organic sound, like not as processed, not as triggery, that you can hear a lot of the resonance of the drums and the tone of the drums and the room itself and stuff like that. Like I think we like that sort of aesthetic and that
Nice.
approach.
Yeah.
I just had another thought. Sorry, to keep chiming in here, but what he's saying about these out. If you think about the '70s fusion era, like of jazz, funks, fusion, all that shit, whatever, like it's kind of like the same mindset of combining different people together. Oh, I did that album with Vinny on drums and fucking LG Miola on
Absolutely.
guitar, or whatever, or Steve
Yeah.
Gadd or fucking Lenny White, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's
John
like all these
McLaughlin,
different dudes, yeah, and they all just put out these albums, and it's like, oh, there's Larry Coryell on guitar on this or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's like I get excited to see that. I'm like, oh fuck, these 3 dudes are there, or 4.
Mhm.
Like, what the hell? Like, this is
Yeah.
gotta be crazy. And
Right.
it's not just all improv, and
Mhm.
it's not standards, it's not just jazz.
Yeah.
It's like it's its own shit. It's like shredding, and they compose
Totally.
these songs.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, it doesn't have to be improv or not. So there's all these different elements that. Oh, sorry.
I think that's like the wave of the
joke, but
future
yeah.
you're bringing up. It's just like kind of like intermingling people. Like, what about this guy on drums?
You
for
need to
this-
mingle
for-
more, dude.
It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I mean, especially with like Rush gone, like you can see like, yo, what if Danny Carey does drums on Rush or something like that? You know, you could
Well,
see
the
like,
Beat Tour. Fuck. I wanna
Back
go
oh
in
to
yeah, and
that.
I already got tickets to that. I got
Oh,
my
you
dad-
bastard.
No, my
Oh,
dad got
yeah.
tickets.
Back
my
in
dad
the day, it was
so-
much more
yeah.
divided in like genres. You know, are you a rocker or a rapper? You know, and then all of a sudden, rock and rap mixed. You know,
Well, now
Yeah.
everything's
But-
connected on the internet. Like now everything is.
Everything's a hybrid of something.
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
everyone.
And I think that more
everyone
people
can
are
see it
just
all.
open-minded.
We're
I
talking
think
about combining genres,
open-mindedness.
though, which is
Mhm.
another conversation.
No, I know.
But that's cool, though.
But
I mean,
just
it's hard,
taking
though.
different players and putting them together, of
Yeah.
course, like we can speak about it and be excited about it because we have, you know, a vast amount of genres of music that we like and listen to.
Mhm.
But
Totally.
not everybody's like that. So I
Yeah.
think that back in the day, taking the risks like a Mahavishnu orchestra or something like
Mhm.
that it was much more of a risk than it is today. But I think that more people are open to seeing what would come out of mixing this
Mhm.
person with that person.
There is actually kind of like an inner
Right.
genre thing. It's kind of along the lines of what Casey was talking about. Rick Beato, I randomly watched him play
Yeah.
like a Slipknot song all the way through, and like to
That's
see
really
him
funny.
play a Slipknot song, like, you know, where I know he's like more blues and kind of jazz and rock driven. Like watching his take on like playing like an aggressive metal song was like, I was like locked to the screen. I was like, this
Yeah.
like an older generation playing a song like that. I was like, I would just love to see his take on it. I would love to see how he picks things. I would
But-
love to see how he did, and he did a great job of it. And I was really, it really locked. I was like, I got to watch this whole fucking thing.
People
now.
people tease Rick Beato. I've loved that guy from the very beginning. I think
He's very
no.
got a sweet disposition. Like
I like
you
him,
know,
man.
of any of those
Yeah.
people, I feel
He's
like he's got a
adorable, dude.
vibe.
Yeah. But
He's
but
one
the
of my-
thing is, I think all these thoughts are awesome. But I'm just saying, like, there's like the genre combining, and then there's the musician combining, and
Yeah.
and the stuff in the 70s I'm talking about is like, it's not. I mean, it is fusion, but it's like not necessarily like mixing, you know, polka with, you know, rock and roll, and you know, it's just
Yeah,
that's
but
like
it is-
Mr. Bungle and all that, and that's like
It's
really
still
cool.
the same conversation, though. It's just the fact
no,
of
it is, but-
mixing two different energies.
Yeah, no, for sure. But no, I'm just saying that it's a different topic in the same conversation. And I think that what I'm talking about is like in death metal, like mixing more different people, that it'd be kind of cool. Like it's just like this guy from this band, this guy from this band. Like, you know, you see that, but not really. It's more the band is the thing. Like it's like the songs and the album. These are the things. And whoever plays in that band makes it sound like that band, you know? But like it'd be
Right.
kind of cool. It's just like all these flavors of these different, and you get albums that are like, oh, there's these players, and that happens. But like, I just think it'd be cool if there's a little bit more of that. Like it'd be really interesting if there's just
If
like,
metal was more scholastic,
more-
where it was like, all right,
Yeah,
it's in the
like-
key of this, the key of that, the key of this, blah blah. These are the structures, and then they got to take their own take. You got to see like what Terrence would have done with this, or what Dennis would have drummed over that, or you know, there's a
I'd
lot
li-
of things where
I'd like to
Yeah,
see
yeah, yeah.
like Dean Lamb and the current drummer of Obituary or something, and see what the fuck happens out of that.
yeah,
but, like-
exactly.
Like
Yeah.
groovy, slower death metal drummer with Dean Lamb just like with
Fastest
his
guitars.
1,000
Yeah.
notes per song style.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
watched
yeah,
the old school drummer just being like,
Because-
slow it down, son. Like, get all like mad at him.
The cool things that happen in the improvisation realm that we've been talking about is what happens to one or more musicians in that environment, to where they're put in put out of their comfort zone and but they're also tapped in to where something comes out of them that they didn't even realize was going to come out of them, but it works.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what
And
Dylan
also
was
like
talking about,
being
yeah.
influenced by that other musician, because it's like that's the sort of alchemy that occurs, right? It's like, you know, you wouldn't necessarily write the same thing because you're reacting to somebody else. And so that's
Right.
why you like
and
make
depending
something
on what
unique.
day happens, like whatever day is different, like
Sure.
you guys improving, that riff will come out completely different to that drum beat. Like it's
Absolutely.
just in the mood of like what you're feeling at the moment of what's going to come out. So
Yeah.
you guys could do that. He could do that same those same drum beats in a row, and something different's going to come out every time, depending on your mood, depending on what you feel off the first riff and going to the second riff, and like what.
So what
goes
you're
on
saying
that.
is. What you're saying is there's a unified field that's always there, no matter if we're tapped in or not. Is that what you're saying, dude?
I mean,
All our riffs are playing in the background constantly. Just when do you actually tap into it, dude?
I mean,
Well,
it's like
I always think of it as
it's a
you
unified
don't
haircut.
write riffs, you discover riffs.
Yeah. You just pluck them out of the
You
air.
find riffs.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they're
Yeah,
all
see?
they're all already
pluck
out
riffs.
there and they
Yeah.
exist, and you have to just find
All the
them.
combinations.
I think
See,
Tom
dude?
Waits. My brother told me this. I don't know. Tom Waits said
brother's
something
Tom
like, if to write a song, you gotta like think like a song. You gotta hang out where songs hang out. And you can say
Right.
the same thing for riffs. You gotta like to write a riff. You gotta like think like a riff. You gotta like
Yeah.
hang
like
out
it. I like
riff
it.
That's
where
great.
the riffs are. You know.
That's cool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was
I
a
think-
sick riff,
You know,
what would I
do?
sound
Where
like?
would I do? Yeah.
I think I'd be like.
Sick riff.
Speaking of genre blending and improvisation, like that did occur for us inadvertently, you know, in our sort of quest to improvise more. We naturally weren't only playing death metal. It's like I like I was saying, I listened to Dog and Cab, I listened to, you know, a lot of post rock or just like ambient music and electronic music and stuff like that. And so naturally we would just write stuff that didn't sound, you know, just death metal. And so I could imagine that would be the same for, you know, I don't know if you guys like Car Bomb, but the Greg, the guitarist to Car Bomb, he has an ambient project, and it's like there's no way that stuff isn't influencing how he approaches writing for Car Bomb. I think anyone, you know, if you combine those forces, like that genre blending would be inevitable if you're just going out the top of your head, because death metal is not the only thing that lives there, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I love that, dude. And I think influences come from all different angles too. Like it's really cool. Obviously classical influences death metal all the time, and then but like jazz and fusion, all the other kinds of shit we're talking about, and like Mr. Bungle and that shit. Dude, that shit influences Cephalic Carnage for sure. You know,
100%.
And it probably, I mean, like where Frank Zappa influenced. It's like this chain of just radness that, like, if you're writing crazy death, like Atheist, dude, like I'm sure that they've listened to all kinds of crazy ass shit. Like, I mean, it's all the same. Like, it's just, it feeds creativity to have more, like, oh, no one's doing that though, you know, like, oh, that'd be really cool. Like, we should make it like, or like, you know, Mr. Bungle, and like I was like hanging with my buddy, and like he like doesn't really know a lot of like these crazy, you know, different genres, but he's heard of Mr. Bungle, but he never heard of Phantomos. And I'm like, well, it's Dave Lombardo. Like we're talking, well, Dave Lombardo plays Mr. Bungle now or whatever. But it was like, well, you haven't heard of Phantomos though? You haven't heard Phantomos? Like, like that shit's fucking insane. Like,
Mike
but
Patton's
it's like
the ultimate example of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That band is the ultimate example of what you're talking about. It's like the Melvin, Slayer, Bungle, all these guys got together and fucking made.
Well, what sucks
Phantomos.
is that in
Tomahawk,
like 10 years we could just like fucking, you know, not to bring the AI into it, but we just be like, can I make a band with, you know, a little bit of Melvin's, 14% fucking Slayer, like 32% DSI.
You got to do it 23andMe
for what kind of
music.
I'll say it right now, it would suck. It would sound like shit. There's no way. I mean, maybe you could have
at the very end though. The very end, you could say, you could, but make it sound good.
Yeah, you could do Mike Patton voices, but like, yeah, to try and combine all those things, it's like there isn't enough, you know.
But is there
Melvins on the planet for AI to like learn enough to be able to do something really convincing? I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
Taylor,
as-
you could
as
do
you-
like Taylor Swift 90%, 10% Mr. Bungle
Suicide.
Suicide, and see what the fuck happens, dude.
but
Yeah, that I could.
it always comes out
then
deformed.
you get a sleep
Yeah,
token.
exactly.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
it's
comes out
a-
now deformed, but there was a video that I saw recently. It was all AI last year, and it showed like Will Smith like eating spaghetti, and he was like an
Yeah.
alien, like eating, and then it showed it like now, and it's like
Yeah.
showed Will Smith eating spaghetti, like
Flapping Chris. Oh,
It's
like,
like
and I was like-
resolution. It just gets to the point where it looks like real life. Like it's
That's
like
what I'm
8K,
saying.
4K. Like after enough, yeah,
it's gonna. I don't know. It's. I mean,
cycling of updates and
we all talk about it over and over again, blah blah blah. Talking point, AI taking over music, blah blah blah. But at the same time, like, it's getting advanced enough where I'm kind of like I went from like the guy going like whatever, they ain't gonna do shit
Mhm.
to like, oh fuck, is this real or is this not? Like I don't. It's gonna be in like give it another 2 years, and
I think it's the Taylor
gonna-
Swifts who have to worry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
Discord
yeah.
doesn't have
Exactly.
to worry because no one
Yeah.
who likes Discord gives a fuck about listening to an AI version.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, no, I think the pop music shit is gonna get the AI slash.
And
burst.
there's
It's
so
like-
much material that it's
Yeah.
easier to train, and it's
So I think
clearer
it's
music.
it's a pop killer.
Yeah, because there'll be like
Sure.
a famous artist that like is like AI or something. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
simpler
You know
music.
what I mean, everything's so fake. It doesn't really even mean anything.
There's going to be
anymore.
like
Probably
a
affected.
person, like a fake
Catchy
face of a
song.
person that like an
Yeah.
AI programmer is going to have and be like, this
It's like
is a new
movies about it
artist.
already and shit.
Yeah, it's going to be like an
Right.
artist is this made up face and this is the songs
Yeah.
she makes. It's
Or
like
do they actually? There was that movie that there's like a famous. Isn't there like a famous pop
a
star?
Terminator
Like,
2.
do they actually exist? Yeah, and like Skynet or some shit. No, but it's like, but they're like
How?
some pop.
But how?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't even know they really exist. Like, do we even really know Taylor Swift exists? Like,
It's
I
like
mean,
who
honestly,
cares?
have
That's
you
my
met
whole
her?
point.
Have
It's like
you
I've
met
never
her? Have you
seen her
shook
in
her
real
hand?
life. It's like she
Do
might
you
as well
know?
be AI to me. Like it's like who gives a
Mhm.
fuck?
And in
Wouldn't that be
20
cooler if she
years-
was AI though? I'd be like, oh shit, you
whatever.
faked a
Looking
bunch,
kinda
you faked
cool,
billions of
actually.
people out.
especially like if that all just turned out that was the way. But yeah, I mean, like there
If
was
in 2 years, that happens, dude, I still think it'll take another 10, 15 years before they can actually duplicate a cephalic carnage or something like that, because the quantized, polished studio albums are going to be much more easily recreated in
Mhm.
AI than there would be the human.
But what if they
sounding-
put in the AI like, hey, every like 9/10 of a second make a wrong beat or something, like they could.
But-
That's what I'm yeah.
But also that just
Too mu-
isn't what things sound like. It isn't like every 9/10 of a second I play a wrong beat. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
I'm
yeah.
every
sure you guys
9/10 of a
brought up
second,
atheist.
My mind is thinking about something else. It's like
But what if
there's all
every
kinds of
bar they
weird
give
shit.
instructions? Every bar they give instructions. What about that?
Well, here's
Try.
another perspective.
Good luck.
let's let the professor speak. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
a real professor before he gets his job taken by robots.
And it's philosophy. So this is I'm very interested in what you have to think.
It matters how a song is created. So you could have the exact same sounding song if it's made by humans. That's objectively more interesting than if it's made by AI. It's not just the sound of the music. It's in part the quality of it is determined by the circumstances under which it was created.
What if the circumstances are false though, and they lie about it?
I don't know what that would be in this
You're
case.
talking about
Well, so
like
it's like, hey,
quantized.
look at this band and it's a fake band, and listen to this music that they made and it's fake music. And then
Yeah,
I'm
but
like,
what if they say that
find
we're a
out.
real band? Fuck you. This is
Pepsi
real
challenge.
music.
Yeah, then
Yeah,
it-
yeah, it's the Pepsi.
it would
challenge.
absolutely change the context of me listening to it. I would
Yeah.
think
Well, yeah,
I would,
if it's
I would
AI
hear
music.
it differently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if people
I-
are lying about it and saying it's real music.
People just
Fuck
Yeah. Well,
you.
hold on a second. So I think what Joseph is saying makes perfect sense for most music. But
Mhm.
like when it
Right.
comes to like straight up like pop, like formulaic, like it's already the most formulaic music and edited and this and that and the vocoder and all that things already like basically AI. I mean, it's technological
Yeah, yeah.
intelligence.
I mean, there's a
whatever.
lot of humans
level
in
are
the
you gonna-
room when they're making pop music.
Yeah.
Like they're
But it's
using
OI, it's
producers,
OI,
background
it's
producers.
Yeah.
It's organic
But I mean-
intelligence. It's
but in-
OI.
Though that kind of music specifically is the kind of music where people do not really give a fuck how it was created. Like it could be written by the guys in Sweden, those two, whatever the guys, or it could be written
Yeah.
by whatever, or it could
Oh,
have been
for sure.
written
Like
an algorithm on the computer that spits something back. We don't know. Like it's four chords, same
if
four
you don't
chords.
care
that
where
we
your
use,
art comes
like,
from, then then the you know the conversation's
Exactly.
over. But it's like if you care about where your art is grown, then you know.
But Joseph nailed it though. That's what I'm saying. Is that's the point. That's the crux of it's like it's a philosophical issue more than anything else. Not technological or not creative. It's like, who cares? Like if they put a thing into the computer and it comes back with the song and that fucking sells millions of, and they go out and they do the tour and they can have a human play. They already do that.
Well,
dude.
my counterpoint to him was though, is if they lie about it and say no, this was made by us in a studio, this wasn't
But
AI.
it depends on the music. It depends on like what it is. Like if it's a band, like that's why we care about like a band, you know. Like,
But also,
but if they
people, you know,
don't
like
people
if you
want to
found
be
out,
surprised by things? Like if it's like if you're just feeding it other stuff that's been made, then it's just going to sound like other stuff that's been made. If you want to be surprised by music,
ChatGPT
But it
make a
already is.
surprise on the fourth bar.
yeah.
I don't know. There could be. I don't. It's getting. I'm saying right now we're in the infantile stages of it, and it's pretty ridiculous. It's kind of an exponential growth kind of thing, and not to I work in technology and stuff too, and I have things coding shit for me all the time, and I'm just like, write these scripts, and I'm like constantly doing that, and they're actually starting to get to the point where they're nailing it, where I don't have to fuck with any of it, and I'm like. All right, this is getting better. But it's going to be it's an upward slope of exponential, like it's going to be insane soon. That either we have to fucking go and get like fucking Jessica Connor, what's her name? The girl from
Sarah
Terminator
Connor.
2. Sarah Connor. We need her to go to Miles
Sarah
Dyson's
Connor.
house with a machine gun
Sarah Connor.
and just like get him and then like bring him to the lab and blow it up.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, what you're describing too is like logic based, right? So it's like, AI is going to do a good job of learning and being able to execute logic based requests.
100%.
But like cephalic carnage is specifically illogical. You know what I mean? It's like they're intentionally subverting everything they can think of, things that would make them laugh. You know, and it's like. I guess you could make a cephalic carnage. Like,
I feel like that would be easy when AI gets good enough for just being like, hey, the weirdness of Mr. Bungle, the irregular, the weirdness and left field shit of cephalic, and when it gets advanced enough is all I'm saying. It's not right now. I'm just talking about when it gets advanced.
No,
enough.
I hear you. I keep my eye on AI. I do, and I use stuff. When we did our Mind Meld album cover, I used Midjourney to iterate the ideas that I was trying to like pitch to Dylan of what I wanted to the photo to look like. And so I went through a bunch of different versions, through Midjourney and figuring out all the shitty, keywords you have to use to try and make it do what I wanted. And then eventually spat something out that was like, all right, this is somewhat representative of what I want to achieve. Now let's do this in real life. And then if you've seen the artwork, there's these 8 jars on the table that represent all of the 8 songs on the album. And they're filled with this like mysterious contents. And so I needed to figure out what we would fill those with and how to fill them. And so I used ChatGPT to develop a recipe that I could use to make the goo that would be inside of these jars, because I couldn't find anything online that was going to do what I wanted. And it worked really, really well. But it wasn't ChatGPT or Midjourney, creating the end product. I was using it in the iterative process to be able to convey my ideas,
Out of those 8 recipes, how many of them involve semen?
0.
What?
Didn't need semen if I had was it gelatin?
Where's the drunk Anthony?
And what's it called?
He's driving. He can't
whatever.
be
Anthony, where are you right now?
That doesn't mean he can't.
I'm sitting in my car right now, just waiting
definitely
for
not
my
drunk.
family to show up.
It's actually not
drunk.
Anthony. It's AI version of him, but okay.
Oh,
Here's the
AI
thing,
versus
though.
AI, dude.
It all goes back to the philosophy, though, like what Joseph said, like, dude, because humans have been interacting with technology to be creative from day one since technology was there. So if you do something, you take a computer and numbers of this and it gives you an idea, and then you take it and you use your human mind to like create something.
Cool.
Yeah. That's called
everything.
That's called everything. That's like
that's called
been going on
influence.
since technology.
Influence.
So what we're talking about is when it gets to the point where there is no human mind whatsoever behind that creative thing, and it's just purely AI created, like and it takes like, and that's what I'm talking about, where it's like none of us are, I can't imagine myself listening to a music or a band that doesn't have a human mind behind it, because I'm interested in the source of where that came from. Like I need to know there was a mind in a person. That's what's interesting to me. So if it was 100% AI created, there's no human mind directing or like using that to mold like something, or then that's what I'm talking about with pop music, is I think that will be the first music that will get to that point where it's absolutely just zero.
It's already just psychologically written, and they
even
use
the
more
sound.
Psychology. Yeah.
Like no musician played anything. There was like that drums sound real. They're not real. Like that was written 100% AI.
Yeah. Someone's still like, I want to make a Taylor Swift song, but I want Derek Roddy's kicks.
But see, the thing is, you're not making 100. You're not 100% right there, though, Joel. 100% would be zero human involvement.
Right. Yeah,
it's
but no, you're not 100% right now, because you guys are pretending like you guys are pretending like that someone can't lie to you and say it was really made by a human. Is what you guys are. You guys have this filter that knows AI from non-AI.
I'm just trying to if Deicide made an album and then you found out later that it was an AI album, or if you didn't find out, if Deicide just made an album and they were like, make a Deicide album AI, and it just like spat something out and we all listened to it and we all liked it. It's like,
but it turns in like a weird society where people are like, dude, whatever, that's an AI.
Work, zero enjoyment, it's like
people start calling out albums. People start calling, they're like, oh, that album's AI, dude.
Oh, I see. Like
it's an album you love. People are like, oh, that album's that's AI, dude. I can tell. I can hear it. That's AI, dude. That's an AI. Those are all AI people, dude. They didn't do any of that stuff.
Haters will say it was AI. But real quick, Sick Drummer. Okay. Sorry, I just want to shout out Sick Drummer real quick. He's saying he's going to be in Brooklyn on 6/23 for the Carbon Dillinger Escape Plan show. I will also be there.
Sick.
Oh, that sounds like such a good show.
Say what's up, dude.
Yeah.
No, but I wasn't making an argument for or against each side, Joel. I was just saying what you're saying is the idea comes from the human brain first, and then it's put into a program. What's going to be weird is when AI starts making its own music without our interaction.
Yeah.
It
already has.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay. No, I guess it has, but
it's like not an listenable.
Well, it's like the AI would have to create the system that creates the system that creates the system that creates the system that writes the song in order for it to like not have human interaction. You know what I mean?
Once it becomes self-aware, then
that's actually what
convincing still. Like the tones and the sonics of it have to be convincing, because honestly, I mean, I don't know about you guys. It's like I listen to metal and I listen to music constantly, and it's like I have a pretty discerning ear at this point. I imagine you guys do too. And so it's like if you, it's the same thing like your food. Like if you just don't give a fuck where it comes from, then it doesn't, it doesn't matter to you.
No,
but if you care, then you'll force things from places that are ethical or whatever.
I'm just saying that as it gets better though, and it understands the frequencies that you understand are fake to the ones that you understand are real, and it starts adapting to that. Is all I'm saying. I like, and it goes like to a fucking audio, like I want to say connoisseur. What do you call it? The audiophile? Like to an audiophile. It's like, this is going to be this is going to be perfect. This is going to be like absolutely perfect to what could be in a studio by a person. Blah blah blah. We're in the infantile stages of this, so I'm just talking about like.
But again, it's like perfection. Yeah. Like, what is that? You know what I mean? It's like
it's like type in like make it imperfections plenty.
Imperfections, it's a broad term,
Oh, there's already like human humanization on like computer software where it kind of
so like what do you call it, auto tune and triggering and sample replacement.
I mean, we're talking about
it's like these conversations are the exact same conversations that happened when sample replacement became so popular on drums or synthesis in the 80s. It's like it's all the same conversations, like it's going to replace our jobs.
But we're also talking about technologies of today. We're talking about technologies of today
specifically.
No. I don't want this to happen. I'm not a proponent of this happening. I'm just saying that technology, like we're talking about technologies today, auto-tune, quantizing, fun stuff like that, but like when it gets more technical than that, then it's going to be like, can you tell? And can they lie to you?
That is a huge concern for society in general. I'm not really worried about the aesthetic implications of discerning real music from AI generated music as much as I am like discerning real videos of politicians from fake videos
Yeah.
of politicians. Like
Yeah.
I think
Exactly right.
the real thing to worry about is elsewhere than in aesthetics and music
And
appreciation.
in art. Yeah.
That will be a big deal for us because we're musicians, but I think we'll be much more concerned about other things. And,
Well, that's
and way
way
the
too deep for this
fakery of all
podcast.
reality.
Way
By
too
the
deep,
way,
Justin. You're
There will
scaring
be
me. You're
entire
scaring me.
episodes of Cali Death Podcast
This is
made
gonna-
by AI,
God.
and we
Kelly,
won't.
I know it's
Lord.
still AI. It's like
We'll be like,
Joel's
did we
wearing a
record that
fucking
one?
fake
I don't
head thing.
remember making that.
You guys,
one.
you guys listen to the new Behold the Octopus album. Tell me that's not AI. Because it's so insane. Like they're so out there. It's like it's like it does.
That's
kind of sound
that's
like
OI.
that.
That's OI.
I
Right.
think
Well, of course it's
AI
not
is
Drummer,
AI.
of course not. That's my
AI
whole
is
point.
based
It's like you wouldn't know and you
entirely-
don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
No, I understand.
They invented AI off of Colin Marston's brain. They took his
Hell yeah.
the way he maps things. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why Behold's albums, one of their albums is Psychic Maps, dude, because
Yeah.
that was the beginning of AI right there, dude.
Mhm.
They found his psychic
know-
maps, and that's the basis of how AI works now.
The
But
real
it's
thing,
so-
though,
Dude with a flip phone, gets
Yeah.
an
Oh,
AI
dude, Colin's the
construct of his.
the weird thing is, it's like, oh, it's not natural, It's like, yeah, listen, but it's like, but what is really like artificial? Like, it's all. I mean, if we're all just from.
Oh
this
God, here we
planet,
go. This is where we allow it.
We
to
all
come in.
just we created everything. No, I'm not talking politics. I'm just saying like.
No. Just like
right.
it's like what's
But
not. It's
everything.
organic. We
Like,
created
if we-
AI,
but,
so
but
it's
everything
organic.
created something else. Like animals and plants and things create other things, and that like builds. It's just condensing of energy, and like things get more like intelligence is just organization and condensing of things. That's all a planet is. It's just condensing of matter, and gravity is just. It's like the like a hyper amount of things, So it's like that's all like this shit is like. So if it's what is is this just like inevitable? Like we're just going in this direction. Like we can't stop it, like because of like just the progression of intelligence and energy condensing more and more and more into
Yeah, we
like,
can't.
we
Yeah.
create this thing. Like, I mean, to animals, like we create like automobiles and metal. We create like we create like like we build shit and we like do stuff like that. To them, that's like AI. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's the same thing to
what the
us.
fuck
Like,
is
it's just
that?
like a digital version. Or what is digital? What does that even fucking mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
all just like life creates life. Like, so it's like if we create maybe it's inevitable and unstoppable, and there's nothing we can fucking do about it because it's just like
I think it
evolution.
is. I feel like this
I
is
don't
a
know.
conversation that, like, in 100 years, they would like listen to this conversation and be like, "Those old timey dudes had no
Yeah,
idea
I
what
know.
the hell they were."
It's like
It's like-
Model T car people. Like, what's going
It's like
Exactly.
that's not, they had their both human eyes back then. Like we all have cyborg eyes now. Like, what are you doing? You know?
You know
We're
what?
either
is-
on our way to utopia or dystopia, dude. One of the two,
We're on the way to this both at the same time. That's life.
Yeah.
It's like both at the same time. That's the whole like illusion of one or the other. It's like, no, it's both, dude.
Where's Joe Rogan?
I
Where's
know.
Joe Rogan?
I know. It's so funny.
Oh, we both click.
For real,
Me and
dude,
Joseph
for
click
real.
things we get
This
excited
is
about at the same
broad
time.
I know.
The first ones that are going to get a hold of that really close to human AI music is going to be the record labels, dude, and then they're just going to get rid of the artists, dude. Now you could just do holograms of artists and shit. You could do a whole tour with AI generated music and holograms, dude.
If your audience likes that shit, then why not? But it's like
No, totally.
You train 13-year-olds
Yeah.
to be into it. You train them to be into it, and then
Yeah.
they buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
All right,
like
so
Taylor
let's go-
Swift's.
Let's pull it
Yeah.
back a second and go like, okay, so what makes so new shit that's coming out, like when you hear the new Malignancy stuff that's out, which is really fucking badass, or when Vitriol came out a bit ago, what is it that makes us like fucking us? Because those
Good
people
question.
played that shit. Those people played that, Or
Mhm.
like Atheist and stuff, like, and we're talking about breathing and the music and the non
Mhm.
AI, like reversing everything, going backwards, and then also like even
OI.
old Metallica and shit. Yeah, OI.
We got to coin
OI,
that
dude.
term, dude. We got to
What is
coin
it?
that.
Yeah,
I like
OI.
it. OI
What's-
versus AI, dude.
What's OI?
What does
yeah.
O stand for?
Organic.
Organic.
Organic
Organic.
intelligence? But it's all organic. I mean, but yeah, no, it's smart. No, I know, I get what you're saying, and like, but it's like, but like, or like not playing to a click, and like, and Metallica, and I want to see what Dylan thinks about that too, like in terms of like playing with Atheist and like how like that difference, because it's like I never played to a click, but the bands I played in with Decrepit Birth and that kind of shit, it was very, it was
Yeah.
click based, but we never did it live, because I just,
Yeah.
but so like, how do you feel like, it's just like, so with Atheist, there's no click,
No.
right? So like,
There
how is
couldn't
that?
be.
Awesome.
I mean,
Like, and it's great, probably.
I always wonder how much of that is just like my own ego, just
Mhm.
my own drumming ego of like, I don't need a click. Like I got it. You know what I mean? Where,
Mhm.
and then, but I honestly think a lot of it is truly just, that human element and like, like, for instance, if you think of a scale, like a major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it's like on a guitar, all those notes are the same distance. But like a scale comes from, just like natural singing for like thousands of years. And it's like, I don't know if you guys know this, but like a major third is actually too sharp, because it's not like in perfect like units of measurement, you know what I mean? And it's like
Yeah.
Temperament
the
too, and stuff.
the human part of our ear that likes sound and likes music, it's not working off of exact measurements. Like that's not the secret. What the secret is like the feel and like locking into your heartbeat, which fluctuates, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I
Mhm.
truly believe that
Interesting.
like the best way for at least for like Atheist, is it's live, it's breathing. It's like a tightrope. You can fuck it up and you can fall to your death, or you can nail it and it feels even better.
Huh.
But it's like if I was in Archspire, I would say, yeah, let's have a click, because that's
Yeah.
a different animal. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I
I like
you know
that tightrope analogy because when you're
Yeah.
going across a tightrope, you got to move with the rope in order to keep your balance, and
Might be a
things
wind
That's
shift and
too.
sway, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
Well,
staying on top of that tightrope. That's a
and
good
there's also
a good
how you
analogy.
play to a click. Like you can like kind of rush the click. You can play back on the click. The click is like your template,
yeah
So
Reference point.
you can fuck with the click like a
Yeah.
little bit, So it's like,
yeah
and there's nothing wrong with playing to a click. Like obviously, like when Decrepit started playing with Samus and then doing all the shit, and they've used a click ever since. I think they sound way tighter and way better live. So
Yeah.
like,
Casey didn't
Also,
play to a click with
I'm not
Decrepit, is what he's saying.
anti-click.
yeah, because
I've
I
played to a
couldn't.
click.
I mean,
My
I
whole
could.
life I've played live to a click. I've recorded to a click. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I also think that being able to play to a click is what allows me to say, okay,
Mhm.
now I want to get rid of the click. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like if out there you can't play to a click yet, then like, maybe
Practice.
get that going. Or
Yeah,
that's
no,
cool.
totally.
That's a cool piece of advice, because a lot of people like
Yep.
just they don't play to a click and they're like, whatever, we got this. But like,
Yeah.
and then you watch them on a click and they're jumping all around. They can't even stick to
Yeah.
a click.
Or
So,
my
like,
favorite one is like, if you ever
Yeah.
jam with, like, as a drummer, like if you ever jam with a guitarist that's just all leads, like they're not like a rhythm player, and like their sense of rhythm is like like everything's rushed and sped, and you know what I mean, and it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, you need a click, like
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because like a lot of us back in the like we always recorded to a click, and it was always like a no-brainer,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, put a click, or especially, but it was just, yeah, like it's just the live click thing that's become like, and I think bands that play to a click live like usually sound really tight, and it's awesome, and there's definitely nothing wrong with that. I think it's really cool and a great skill to be able to do that. But it's just to click or no click, to click or not to click. It's like
That
it
is the
depends.
question.
I think it's
That's
not
the
the one's
question.
right or the other. It's just like the style of music, and like,
Yeah.
and also like, for example, like with Metallica and stuff, especially, obviously the first, four, and just being like explaining Lars's drumming to a student, because I've taught for a while, and I used to teach a lot more, and it's like just explaining Lars Metallica to a drummer is very like, all right, don't overthink it. You got to feel like this, or like the end of For Whom the Bell Tolls. Like what's the tempo there? What's the feel?
Right,
Like,
right,
I don't
right.
fucking know. You just got to
thing,
feel it.
I'm
a good
always
example.
early. I'm always early when I'm listening to it. I'm like,
Yeah.
God, damn it. Yeah, I'm always early. I don't know what it is. I think that must have been like
Punches or
watch
something?
the
You think they watched the waveform at that time? I highly doubt.
I
that
think-
they had that
I
technology.
think-
Yeah,
I
they have waveforms back then.
I think. Well, yeah, I think.
You can
Of course.
see it if you take enough acid.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. No, I
I
imagine
think-
they played together. No, I mean,
No,
the punches would have been pretty difficult.
Yeah,
then.
no,
no, what I
but-
mean is,
oh, yeah,
like,
cutting
they must
tape.
have watched. It must have been not in time, but what I mean is, like, they must have watched Lars.
Yeah.
So he must have been like,
he dictated the timing.
Oh yeah,
like with
Lars was
the
the
setup
metronome.
of it. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that's how it must have been on, and then you know.
Lars was the metronome musically and financially, or in,
Yeah.
you know, like,
The
he was
financial metronome.
or whatever. You know what I mean? Like or managerially or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm getting tired.
Here's
But-
All right,
a-
hey
Yes.
guys, I'm sorry to cut you guys off. I gotta go. My phone's about to die. I still gotta pack some shit, and I'm getting on a flight early. So I love you guys, dude.
We
Yeah,
love
Hope
you
I'll
you
be
can make it, Anthony. Thanks for dropping in, man.
Thank you.
Definitely, Wally and Dylan. It was very nice meeting you guys.
Pleasure.
Likewise, dude.
Let's
Travel
keep in
safe.
touch, and you guys have a good rest of the night without me. Oh no,
Enjoy
I'm not
your
doing
trip.
fucking
Do it,
plugs.
do it.
I'll plug. All right, I'll plug Battle Forge Coffee right now.
There it is.
Thank
Thank you.
BattleForgeCoffee.com. Yeah,
Love you,
I'll
buddy.
be popping in. I'll be popping in from Paradise next week too, doing the same
Ooh, I
thing
like
on the
that.
phone. Yeah,
Thank
dude.
you.
It rolls
but
off the tongue.
I'm glad I got to. I was just gonna do a quick pop in, but we've been having such a good conversation. I've been on for like the last hour.
Yeah, man. That's
Um,
awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for stopping in, dude. I'm stoked.
Yeah, for sure. And
Having a safe
yeah,
flight
we'll
tomorrow.
see you thanks, guys, and I'll see you guys next week.
Later.
Peace.
Enjoy your trip.
Did you guys know that?
Sorry. As he left.
You just end the episode, right? That'd be so funny.
You know that. Every episode.
Like, oh, I guess we're done. All right.
That's great. Yeah. I did wonder if that was the wrap-up tone.
Yeah.
That's the
That's
psych out.
funny.
Did you know Master of Puppets, the album version, was recorded at slower tempo with an E flat tuned guitar, and then they sped it up to E.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, they
Yeah.
sped up the whole tape with the drums and everything.
They sped up the tape, and you can tell because the original in E flat is on YouTube somewhere, and also the snare tuning on the on track 2 is slightly different from the snare tuning on the rest of the album, and it's because the tape was sped up, so the snare
Why
was
did they
a little
do that?
higher. Because
Wow.
they wanted tighter riffage than they could actually
It's
pull
like
off
the-
at that speed.
I
Yeah.
was going to drop a band name, but I probably shouldn't. But
It-
other bands that have been accused
they-
of speeding up their playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking Rings of Saturn. I'll say it for you.
All right. I wasn't going to be the one.
It's all
No,
good.
that's- yeah, it's
I
So
love
that's
Rings of
interesting to
Saturn.
say,
All
you know,
bands
we're going to
do that.
intentionally pitch down, and because we know that our end goal is to speed this up for, you know, X reason, as opposed to saying, okay, we played this all, and the problem with this music is it's not tight enough or not fast enough, and so now we're going to pitch it. So
Well.
it's just interesting that, you know, and like, again, like talking about pre-production, it's like to say, no, we're writing all these in E flat, and then it's all going to get pitched, and then we have to learn that, or
I wonder when the first
weird.
person in a recording studio said, as long as you can play it live, like, you know,
right.
and that's been probably since the Beatles, Beach Boys, since, you know, like multi-track recording was a thing. And they're like,
Mhm.
how are we going to play this? You know, like, and they're
Mhm.
just like,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Yeah.
out. Or the Beatles were just like, we're just not even going to play it
Yeah,
live.
they were literally
But-
like Sgt. Pepper's. We don't want to
Yeah,
ever play
we're
this
good.
live.
Yeah, we'll let
Yeah.
Jimi Hendrix do it instead. Yeah.
And they were
But
on the tape speeding up thing, like there's 2 different versions of in the Sky out there. Maybe the whole Sgt. Pepper's album, like
Mhm.
Strawberry Fields Forever, and a lot of those tracks too. They're
So-
like different tape speeds, so they're slightly one's like
Mhm.
totally in
Speeds,
tune.
yeah.
One's
The mono
totally-
and the stereo mixes.
it's
Correct me if-
beyond like several mixes beyond just
That's
those
right.
2. Yeah, but
Mhm.
Correct
Yeah,
me if I'm wrong, but isn't like, and this isn't like a judgment or nothing like that, but isn't like the first Deicide sped up, and isn't Despise the Sun slowed down, or something like that. I remember hearing
Is that
the Suffocation.
Oh yeah, yeah.
that EP, like the greatest thing ever. But like, isn't that like slowed down or something? Like,
I
I
love
don't
that.
know, dude. I don't.
I'll look this up.
I'm
I mean-
speaking rumors or like wives' tales. So someone please.
I've never
correct me.
heard any of this. You guys are blowing me away.
I've heard that like there are death metal albums like that like I thought like Deicide the first one, DSide was like slightly sped up.
It's like
And then I feel
I mean,
like
reel
the-
to reel recording sped up, or
Well,
was
It was
it?
2-inch tape for sure back.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's how they would have
maybe
sped it up at that
ADAT, but
time.
probably not.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
one that is for sure is, I don't know if you guys know hardcore punk that well, but Bad Brains. They put out the self-titled with the lightning bolt, the
Mhm.
yellow, and then they did an album called Rock for Light, produced by Rick Ocasek, whatever his name is, from the Cars. And that album is sped up such that every chord is a half step higher. And I didn't know that when I was a kid. And that drummer is just and I'm just like, how the fuck? And I spent my entire life thinking Bad Brains are like insanely good at their instruments and fast. And then I found out later that whole tape is sped up, and I found some versions of those recordings at the original. And I was like, kind of disappointed. That one kind of hurt, to be honest, because I worship
this
that
goes
album.
back to your being lied to point earlier.
Yeah.
Like, how much do you care about that, authenticity?
Exactly.
And it's like, well, at the end of the day, is that Bad Brains record is, a classic.
And you loved it.
If anything, it sort of influenced you to play like that. You know what I mean? So it's like the result is now we play fast.
Wally, we're basically going like, just do your thing.
Well,
dude.
No, we're not saying
No.
that. We're not. Fuck
It's
you,
like
no.
it's like no, not AI, but I'm saying like
that's
it's like
hilarious
it's like
about Not So Vile.
but
I didn't know about
lies,
this.
but lies and stuff that you like. Oh, how the fuck did they do that? And then you find out it was like, oh, they didn't.
Well, here's the
you're like-
thing.
and
Okay,
you're like shit.
about the Bad
God
Brains
damn it.
specifically, like most of those songs were just also on the first album. I have no idea how they got away with Rock for Light. It's like pretty much the same 10 songs plus like 5 new ones. So that's kind of a case where like you have the OG versions, and then this is kind of just like, now it's kind of just a weird session that the product of a session, and it wasn't their idea, it was the producer's idea. So it's like, I don't really know what to make of it all. But if you,
That's so good, Zach.
I'm definitely yelling
That's
it
so
down
good.
right now.
I gotta put that on a shirt or something.
I'm gonna be
I
the
know,
crying,
That's a
the like,
shirt.
no, you can't. It matter, like, and then the stoic guy just like generate it all. It doesn't matter.
I know the new generation will be like, whatever, dude. Why do you care so much, dude? This is
Yeah.
how it was. And you're
I
like,
grew up
"Whatever,
with
back in my
AI.
day.
Yeah.
We did it for real." And then it's just gonna be like a different generation going like, "Fuck you, boomer."
This is it right here. Yeah.
But yeah, it was never sped up was any Fermentor album. We played all of
Nice.
them.
Oh, yeah, so Fermentor.
note for note and beat for
There you
beat.
go.
And that's actually where this whole
none of it's
competition became.
AI, it all
The whole
came from
conversation
our own
came from
pocket.
you guys actually being, like organic with each other. And that's where we kind of wavered off into artificial, jamming. But like, you guys have a style where you're connecting with each other and being like bros with each other and connecting and jamming, and actually there's like nothing that can fucking fake that. There's nothing that can fake that, because you guys have had your own experiences. You guys have had your own looks at each other when you hit a certain note that's wrong. You guys know everything inside and out of each other, and that's why I kind of even went down that path. And that's my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But-
No, you're good.
But like, as far as like just being like a jam freestyle, just figuring stuff out on your own, that's like literally, I think, probably the most fun I've had in music. I've played in crazy technical bands where I have to make sure and hit every note perfectly, and I'm constantly, and I'm just on my shit with that. And can't say it's as fun as jamming freestyle with, my friends,
It's a different objective, right? It's like a lot of metal. It's about the execution and like just nailing the record. There are big bands who listen to their album, their studio album when they play live. They don't listen to each other. There's no stage volume, they're just playing to the record. And the result of that is, they achieved their objective. They wanted it to sound like the record, and it does. But that's not at all what we sort of approach music like. And really, it's a more live experience, and that's what we were trying to bring to Mind Meld and to these 2 new albums that are coming out, is that like the actual experience of like watching us or like being a part of us play music. And also the benefits that come to like our friendship is, non-quantifiable. And it's, in part because we've collaborated and tried to generate and build this thing and grow it. And, that's like, an irreplaceable experience.
Yeah, there's certain riffs you guys are jamming on, and there's not going to be a yeah, it's adorable because you guys are. I like that though. Like me and Carrie, my best friend, same kind of thing we have with each other. Like we have the same, just fucking around with something, and we come up with something just fucking around, and that's like the most organic, awesome experience that you can have as a musician. It's just like have an idea and then you laugh and then you get serious and then you headbang and all the emotions kind of like go through the whole scale, rather than just be like, this is what I wrote, learn it. You know, like
it's just a different type of collaboration. You know, it's like
totally
we have a full, you know, a full collaboration. Other people, it's sort of like, you know, you have studio type musicians, or you know what I mean, or maybe you start by, you know, I have all these songs that I've written, and you know, you bring band members in and they learn it, and then you get that comfort and that relationship to where you can start writing music. And it's like, it's not unlike an atheist
100%.
situation where, you know, it's like Dylan had to come in and learn this other person's material and play it very exactly, but now he gets to, you know, create new music with Kelly and the boys, and that's, you know, because the relationship was there, and that confidence and that comfort.
That's gonna be sick.
Hell yeah,
I'm super stoked on
it
that.
is gonna be sick.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Congrats on the gig and the fucking chance to be part of one of the best bands of all time.
Thanks,
We're
man.
talking about
I
Fermentor.
Fermentor he's talking about. Yeah.
I
Nice. You got it.
I promise.
Yeah.
I don't take it lightly, and it's an honor. And yeah, we're writing new material. We want to put out a new album. We've already written some songs. They're fucking sick. You know, put our heart and soul into them, trying to make them sound as interesting as they can. So we're just excited. But
how was working with Kelly? Because he was the guitar player kind of back in the day, right? He was playing guitar with
no, I
left-handed
mean,
guitar.
there was a good
he's
stint
lefty.
when we were writing stuff back and forth where he would send me a song every day, like a
Damn.
song he wrote. Like he's always playing guitar. I mean, from the songs we wrote together, there's like dozens of other songs that we, you know, like songs I wrote, songs that he wrote. I put drums on his ideas. I put drums on Alex's ideas, Jerry's ideas. We took Yoav's bass lines. I came up with guitar riffs for those, you know, just really just like putting all the ideas back and forth. And he's got great ideas. And Kelly's a very, you know, honest guy. And I try to just not, you know, it's like he's a very blunt person. So, you know, I try to like not take things personally, like he's like mean or anything, but just sort of, you know, if he says like, hey, that's a cool drum beat, can we make it cooler? Like that, like, is that the coolest fill I've ever heard in my life? No. Like, can you do it? You know what I mean? And at first I'm just like, okay, you know, I thought that was cool, but I guess I'll make it cooler. You know what I mean? But then I just realized that's just something I have to get over. And what always happens is that after I try his ideas or do these things and we look at it, then it's better. And I'm like, oh,
That's
okay,
actually
well.
really cool with like in my job and stuff, if I don't get pushed, like I won't produce much, you know, if I don't get like that work sucked or something, then I won't, I'll be like, if I get like, oh, it's fine, then I'll kind of give bare minimum. I'll be like, you know, just enough to get by, do the things. But if you get like called out a little bit, then I'll be like, oh shit. And I'll just like go way above and beyond.
Double your efforts. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be like, oh shit, I'm getting called out. I need to take this to another level and try to push it. It's like exciting though. It can be taken as sometimes as like, what the fuck? Like, you know, a lot of people will take it like in the music sphere will take it like, wow, like what the fuck?
That's the
but
part
like,
of collaboration, right? Is that criticism and being able to take that is really, really hard. Or for me, it's like as an audio engineer, it's like giving someone a mix is such a vulnerable thing, you know, and like getting 100%. All those notes back can be really, you know, soul crushing sometimes. But you know how you handle that, it's like, you know, comes with
it's like things that you were the most excited about. You're like, I'm gonna put the most work into this, and then that's the number one thing they say sucks. And then right. You're like, shit, dude, I was trying my ass off on this. Yeah, that's the vulnerability of doing that, and but also like what Dylan's talking about, like it's vulnerable, but then you get notes back that aren't trying to be. It's not for like an ego battle. It's not for to make you feel like crap. It's not. It's just because
you have a high standard. You know, you're trying to achieve a quality level. Yeah,
exactly. And you're like,
Kelly's very exacting about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that actually puts you to push yourself harder and possibly become a better musician out of it. Like whether you were right or wrong, it's still like you're willing to take a chance and be like, all right, this whole thing, I'm gonna go ahead and change this and make this like a different thing and make it better and blah blah. But like when you thought it was good already, that kind of expands your mind into like trying other things that you never even thought about with that, you know? So
Yeah.
to me, it's actually kind of like I've always noticed that with managers like or and bosses and stuff, like if you don't push me or if you don't like threaten me with anything, then I'm gonna be like, all right, well, I'll just get the job done.
Right.
But if you go like, no, that's not
Fire.
good, what's going on? Then you're like, oh shit. Okay, well, I'll put my like I need to be like feet to the fire. Then I'm like, all right, well, yeah, what are we doing here? What's going on? You know, I'll start like exploring different avenues of my brain to like get it done in a different way, in a better way, or just a different way. But maybe
Yeah.
that's better, you know, like, and you didn't exactly think that was going to be the case in the beginning, and then you're just kind of like, whoa, and then you hear it and you're like, oh fuck, that's way sicker. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's kind of like the full circle of being pushed.
Mhm.
But
Different motivators too for different people. Some people are motivated differently, and so it's
yeah,
like
100%.
that's the tricky thing too with bosses and stuff, is like knowing how to read people or how they're, you know, and like what you expect
Their
out of them.
intention
And-
is
Yeah, that's true.
yeah,
That's
but
right.
it's
if they're being dicks, if you know they're being dicks, then like you're not going to be inspired at all. But if you know that they've created good things, and then you're
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
all right,
then
well, I
that's
trust
true.
you.
You know, Kelly's a good
trust you.
example, right? It's like that's someone, and yeah, exactly. You trust Kelly because you know the quality of the stuff he's already created and his vision and
Yeah.
how he executes them now, how seriously he takes it, and how sincere he is.
Yeah, I would say like I used to think I was stubborn, but then I just realized I hadn't really come across many people whose like musical opinion I actually like gave a shit about. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And Kelly is
Mhm.
one of those people where I'm like, oh yeah, you've actually achieved all the things I want to do, and you've written awesome music, so I am interested in what you have to say. It's like,
It goes back to Wally's point of just vulnerability of showing someone something and just being like how you're willing to receive criticism to your vulnerability. Like I'm showing you the thing that I've worked,
Yeah.
you know. And if someone and a lot of times in a lot of bands, they'll be like, someone will be like, I don't like it, and then that person will be like, fuck you, you know. And it's just over, like, or like something like that will come out. Like you'll hear a lot of those stories of like differences or whatever. Like it's someone's like, I don't like it, it sucks. They'll say something that just crushes someone, and they won't move past it, and then it just turns into this big toxic thing, and then they blow up. And
I mean,
like,
it doesn't help when you don't have good, like, sort of lexicon to give criticism, you know. So if you just say it sucks, I don't like it, it's really unhelpful, right? So it's like if there's something you dislike about it or something you think could be better, it's like, you know, I'm all ears.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I would love some
Mhm.
suggestions, you know. And it's like
100%.
if it ends up being, it's like, oh, you just like all your ideas, then maybe this should be a different kind of
I just
project.
feel like a lot of the lead singer paradigm of like bands breaking up and stuff, the lead singer's an asshole because he just sits there and just like goes like, you know, back in the 80s or something, just going like, here's a riff. He's like, that's fucking dumb, dude. This shit's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And they've worked their ass off on it. And then there's this rift in the band they just hear something that someone else has done and they have their egos out like fucking full, their feathers are out fully like flocked. They're like,
yeah.
Peacocked, going like, no, dude, sucks. And then like, and then that makes them feel like, well, fuck you. And then that kind of, I feel like a lot of bands have gone through that a breakup because of that. So it's cool to like accept, to be like a criticism, be like, yeah, actually, you know, not like in an egotistical way. I'm not being attacked. Like I feel like, okay, well, how can I change this? Okay, well, I'll try this. Maybe he'll be like, no, go back to the one you did. That's better. You know, you don't know. It's like the conversation can't take place unless there's like no, like the ego goes back, you know?
I've also noticed a lot of stuff in like the studio with people's egos. Like I find the people who are always the most anti-editing or like taking things in pieces are the people who have trouble playing. You know what I mean? It's like they're like, no. This recording process is an opportunity for me to prove to myself that I can actually play these parts.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, this isn't about your fucking ego or how good you are.
Right.
And it's like me, I'm, you know, it's like whether I'm good or whatever, it's like I'm happy with my playing abilities. So that's why I'm happy to have all my fuck ups in that improv album, because I fuck up all over the place, but it's like I'm okay with my playing So I'm okay with having these fuck ups in there, or I don't mind doing little, quote unquote, like studio tricks to make it sound better, because I'm not worried about my ego. I'm just worried about like creating the best possible thing, which
100%.
is often like revealed in like a recording studio of like where someone is with how they can play and how that affects their creative decision making.
100%.
Sometimes
100%.
recording something in one can give it something, and that can be cool, but being able to discern when that's the priority over, I just need to prove something to somebody, to myself or others, then it's just like, well, we could be done already and this could sound the same or better.
Well, it's fucking rad to see what you guys are doing, like that style of just two friends jamming and capturing it and
We're just
sending
two
it out
friends
to people.
jamming.
It's just two bros just hanging out.
Fermentor.
It's
Two friends jamming.
Two friends jamming tour.
Yeah. That's all. And you guys are hitting the road and stuff. And
Two
are you guys so?
banding tour.
Yeah, no, we are hitting the road, and we'd love to come and play for you guys. I think at least a couple of you will be in your town. I mean, San Diego and Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we're playing Long Beach. Joseph, are you in Long Beach?
I'll be in Santa Cruz by then because
cool.
I'm moving. Yeah,
right.
to Santa Cruz. So I'll see you at the Blue Lagoon on July 31st. Hopefully, I am playing a show the 27th in UK, and I fly back on the 29th. And so I think I did the math right now. I think I will be at your show. So
awesome, man. Well, we'd love to see you guys, and come out to all our shows. What is it? It's San Diego, Long Beach,
LA, Santa Rosa, Lakeport, Oakland,
San Jose,
maybe San Jose,
Santa Cruz,
and then probably one more.
Yeah, then one more that we literally don't even know where it is yet, but we know it exists.
We got word.
All right, I might have a house for you in Santa Cruz if you need a spot.
Awesome. We also have a friend. Actually, I was in another band a long time ago called Mother Speed, and we were like a hardcore like speed punk band. Speaking of Bad Brains, and he lives in Santa Cruz now, and we often will stay with him when we come through.
For sure.
No, appreciate the offer all the same. But check out Mother Speed. That band's sick. There's some sax on there.
I feel like I've heard. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, fuck yeah, dude. You guys have been fucking a lot of fun to talk to. This was super fun. I started off bald, ended up with the hat on. And no, it's been a lot of movies.
Tried an arc.
Yeah.
But no, you guys, awesome conversations and stuff, and I'm glad you guys are doing your style. And I really, I'm always stoked on people like being themselves and just jamming and not like coming out with music that comes freely, and that's really cool to me. It's always been the funnest part of me jamming. It's been just jamming with someone, and you guys kind of embody that spirit. And it's really cool to see you guys booking your own tours. And a lot of bands need to get on that bandwagon. It seems to be happening more and more of people just like our bands putting themselves out there and just booking their own tours and just seeing what happens, not having to like go to the label right away. Just go, whatever, see what we can do. We have a online presence. People like our music. We'll see what will happen from this. And it's really cool to see success from it. And hopefully, I wish you guys all the success in the world going forward.
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much,
we appreciate that. And you can listen to all our music or buy our music or our merch at fermentorband.com. You can follow us at Fermentor Metal on Instagram, Fermentor Official on YouTube, or at Fermentor Official on YouTube. We have a bunch of sick videos, a bunch of playthroughs, and actually you can see a bunch of the takes that we did of the songs from Mind Meld at that during that recording process. So that's already up there. You can check out Pitiful Rope and You Fool.
Secret Visitors.
Yeah. No. Yeah? Is that on there? I don't think it is. Okay. Well, anyways, a bunch of them are. And and then also Beekeeper Metal on Instagram and beekeepermetal.com. You can get our Slaves to the Nothing vinyl and CDs. We have a ton of merch from that too, a bunch of really sick designs. And then, do you have anything you want to plug?
Also, Fermentor has a lot of really awesome music videos. Like there's the one we just put out for Sensory Overlord, but we have ones in the past that are, Seventh Circle, The Stench. We have amazing music videos. And also, you were saying like booking our own tour, but for years, Fermentor, we've been recording our own albums, making our own music videos, doing our own
Yeah.
shows, and other bands doing our own tours. So it's like this is what we do, and we're proud to put it out there, and we're proud of the stuff that we make, the music videos and the music and everything. So just thanks for having us.
You got anything
That's
to say about
awesome.
Atheist?
And then check out Atheist.
Who are they? What are they based out of?
Man, I would say Planet Earth.
Planet Earth. Fuck yeah.
But yeah, so thank you.
That's awesome, man. Fucking shout out to people like doing everything on their own. Just like, fuck it, we're not waiting for a label. We're just fucking, we have the technology now. Just record it, put it out there, tour, do all the things. Well, fuck yeah, guys. Good shit. Hope to fucking keep in touch with you guys. See you guys in fucking I'm Drunk Alert. And I'm drunk and I'm drunk.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for
And
talking
thanks
with
for
us.
all the people commenting. And
Yeah, that was
watching
super
along.
fun.
Thanks,
Fuck yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
A lot of cool comments out there.
Yeah. Would love to come back one day, but hope to see you in real life soon.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in
Thanks
a
a
month or
lot,
so.
Cali Death.
Cheers.
Thanks, Steve.
Cheers.
Fuck yeah.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Later on.
Thanks for coming on.